Chapter 9:57. 2 hours later. On the mountain road from Tyne to Mount Tai, the mountain was still filled with a faint fog. Under the rising sun, it was colorful, making one feel like they were in a paradise on Earth. Even so, there were still many mutants on the narrow mountain road. Some of them were alone, while some were in groups. Their goal was the peak of Mount Tai. Everyone was heading for the mutant fruit that was about to ripen at the peak of Mount Tai. Of course, they might not have the strength to fight with the 6 consortiums, but at the very least, it was good to come and see the world. Even so, there were mutants fighting from time to time along the way. The reason was probably because someone had discovered a rare herb in the forest, which attracted the covetous eyes of others. In a team of 5, Ming Ming, who was in Yi Chen's embrace, said sleepily, "Daddy, what are we doing here? Are we going to look for Mommy, Grandpa, and Grandma?" "No, I'm going to see your Uncle Hell. I'll look for Mommy and the rest after I'm done." Yi Chen comforted while smiling. His initial idea was to enter the Kunlun ruins and destroy the 5 ancient clans. After finding Wushuang, he would head to the ancient desolate realm to look for Su Yuhan and his parents. However, who would have thought that the spiritual energy recovery would bring such a huge change to the world? He could not help but postpone this plan for the time being. The reason being, along the way, he had seen too much. The beast horde wreaked havoc in the world, the people's hearts fell, and the order was in chaos. Some people lost their families, and some people shed their blood to resist the beast horde. He knew that he couldn't bear to leave all of this behind. After all, he was the one who had caused the changes in China. At that moment, a commotion came from the mountain road behind them, followed by an unfriendly voice. "Move aside, move aside. A good dog doesn't block the way." Everyone turned around and saw a group of arrogant people pushing their way through the crowd and walking towards them. The person leading the way was a mutant. Most importantly, he had a pair of extremely large ears, like cattail leaf fans. If it was in the past, perhaps some people would go up and take all sorts of photos with curiosity in mind. However, they were no longer surprised. After all, this was the price of awakening and becoming a mutant. Some people became mutants and gained an extra eye, some grew a pair of horns, and some even grew wings. However, there were also people who were unwilling to accept it. They said rather unhappily, "The road is facing the sky. We should each walk on one side. Why should we make way?" It was a mutant with a pair of ivory tusks. More importantly, he was a level 4 mutant, and he had quite a few teammates with him. Well said. His words immediately received the support of the majority of the people, and there were even some people who faintly had ill intentions and wanted to take action for the past. "Why?" That person sneered, then looked behind him and said proudly, "Because we are from Fushi Taiji, because the person behind me is Senior Brother Wang Hai of Fushi Taiji." Everyone was shocked. Fushi Taiji, that was one of the 6 largest consortiums. As his voice fell, a handsome young man dressed in white slowly walked out from behind him. There was an additional vertical eye between his brows, making him look rather demonic. The young man scanned the crowd expressionlessly, and his gaze finally landed on the mutant with ivory tusks. As the third eye between his brows trembled a few times, a flame immediately shot out and headed straight for the mutant with ivory tusks. Under everyone's watchful eyes, the other party did not even have the time to scream before he turned into ashes in an instant. The scene was dead silent. No one expected a level 4 mutant to die in an instant. The young man in white smiled faintly. "Is there anyone else who is unconvinced?" A mutant looked at the young man in white in shock and cried out involuntarily, "Why, you're a level 6 mutant." The moment that was said, the entire crowd was in an uproar. Level 6 mutant. Although it had been 10 months since the spiritual energy awakened, most people were still stuck on the path of awakening and becoming mutants, or were still lingering on the path of being a level 3 or 4 mutant. However, there were always some talented people who were ahead of everyone else and soared all the way to level 6, level 7, level 8, and even level 9 mutants. Any level 6 mutant's combat strength was comparable to a martial venerable among ancient martial artists. With such combat strength, even in the 6 major consortiums, their status would definitely not be low. Whoosh! Those who were initially unconvinced all made way, afraid that they would follow the footsteps of the level 4 mutant from before. They did not dare to be unconvinced anymore. What a joke! Daring to be unconvinced by a level 6 mutant was courting death. Moreover, the other party was backed by Fushi Taiji, one of the 6 major consortiums. A mutant mustered his courage and apologized to the young man in white, Wang Hai. So it's senior brother Wang from Fushi Taiji. We failed to recognize you earlier. Please forgive us. The rest apologized as well. Wang Hai smiled lightly and turned around to walk toward Yi Chun and the rest. The person who opened the way first berated again. Are you blind? A good dog doesn't block the way. Did you hear that? However, Yi Chun and the rest did not move. Are you deaf? The man's expression turned grim. He then walked over quickly and extended his hand to push Yi Chun. The rest gloated. Li Fu, wait. Just when the man was about to touch Yi Chun, Wang Hai, who was behind him, suddenly shouted. When Li Fu turned around in confusion, he saw Wang Hai walking over quickly. He brushed past Yi Chun and eventually walked to Luo Shuiyao. He said elegantly, Are you going to the peak of Mount Tai too, beautiful? Luo Shuiyao was stunned. Even Yi Chun and Luo Tinya were no exception. The two of them thought that they were going to kill these 2 pretentious B** stars. Never did they expect them to fall for Luo Shuiyao. Yi Chun could not help but look at Luo Tinya with a smirk as he thought to this point. His gaze seemed to be saying, someone is masturbating your sister right in front of you. Do whatever you want. Luo Tinya frowned as a cold glint flashed in his eyes. If he could continue watching, he wouldn't have been called the crazy sister protector. Just as he was about to make his move, Luo Shuiyao, who was next to him, reacted. She said shyly to Wang Hai, Yes, senior brother, I am indeed going to the top of Mount Tai. After saying that, she deliberately revealed a very weak and pitiful look. Those who did not know would think that she was really a weak woman. My name is Wang Hai, a level 6 mutant, Fushi Taiji. Her delicate look instantly made Wang Hai's bones go soft. If you don't mind, why don't you come up the mountain with me? I don't mind, of course I don't mind. Luo Shuiyao nodded like a chick pecking at rice. Then, she looked at him in admiration, her beautiful eyes filled with stars. I saw everything just now. Senior brother Wang is very powerful. He's the most powerful mutant I've ever seen. You have to protect me. Chapter 958. To an ordinary man, beautiful women were usually the most lethal. To a man who claimed to be a powerhouse, a beautiful woman who was pitiful and admired was usually more lethal because that would arouse a man's desire to protect her. Wang Hai was the latter. He smiled faintly and said proudly, Don't worry, junior sister. With me around, no one will dare to hurt you. I wonder how I should address you, junior sister? He asked in an extremely gentlemanly manner. Then, he placed a hand on Luo Shuiyao's shoulder intentionally or unintentionally. This method could be said to be effective. Every time he flirted with a woman, he would first start with physical contact before slowly moving to the sensitive parts. He could also test the woman's attitude toward him. This scene caused Luo Tinya's eyes to reveal killing intent. You could just call me Yao Yao. Luo Shuiyao dodged at the right time and covered her mouth while smiling. It's getting late. Senior brother Wang, let's go up the mountain earlier. Otherwise, the fruit will be snatched away. Wang Hai was slightly disappointed, but he did not dwell on it. After nodding, he led everyone up the mountain. Seemingly sensing the hostility from Luo Tinya, he could not help but say with some vigilance, By the way, junior sister Yao Yao, who are these 3? He seemed to be sizing up Yi Chun and the other 2 in jealousy. The 3 of them were much more good-looking than him. Among them, Luo Tinya had blonde hair and a dignified appearance. Yi Wushuang was dressed in white and had sharp eyebrows and bright eyes. Although Yi Chun was carrying a child, he looked as handsome as a god. Them. A cunning look flashed through Luo Xiao's beautiful eyes before she giggled. They're the security guards my dad arranged for me. They're stupid. Apart from their good looks, they don't have any abilities at all. Fortunately, I met you, senior brother. Yi Chun could not help But look at Luo Tianya when they heard that. They saw helplessness in each other's eyes. Among the three of them, two of them had quasi-saint's combat strength, while the other had a combat strength comparable to a saint's. In the end, they became bodyguards. Wang Hai's guard was completely gone when he heard that Yi Chun and the other two had no abilities at all. Coupled with the fact that they did not reveal their auras, they were like ordinary people. Along the way, Wang Hai deliberately chatted with Luo Shuiyao, showing off his background from time to time. Luo Shuiyao also cooperated and made various expressions of admiration and shock, which greatly satisfied Luo Shuiyao's vanity. Wang Hai suddenly said, "By the way, junior sister Yao Yao, I wonder which power you are from? Why haven't I seen you before?" Faction? Luo Shuiyao shook her head blankly. "Senior brother, we don't belong to any forces. We just came from a rich family and became a mutant by luck." As soon as he said that, Wang Hai's smile grew brighter. The more he came into contact with Luo Shuiyao, the more he coveted her. However, he was a little worried about which great force or consortium she came from, so he asked this question. Luo Shuiyao's answer allowed him to completely relax. He could not help but say, "Junior sister, if you don't mind, you can join my Fushi Taiji. At that time, I'll introduce you." "Senior brother, is your Fushi Taiji very powerful?" Luo Shuiyao asked half-truthfully. "Of course," Wang Hai said with incomparable pride. "Fushi Taiji is one of the 6 major consortiums in China. It's the holy land in the hearts of all the mutants in the world. Moreover, among the top 10 mutants in China, the ultimate weapon, Li Yuanhao, is Fushi Taiji's." "Top 10 mutants?" Yi Chun said with great interest. "I wonder which 10. Although Wang Hai was unwilling to talk to him, he still cleared his throat and said after seeing Luo Shuiyao's curious expression. He cleared his throat and said, "Among the top 10 mutants, the 6 major consortiums in China each occupy a spot. The rest are rogue cultivators or those nurtured by small forces. They're not worth mentioning. Ranked 6th is Shan Lingxi from the Spiritual Energy Recovery Consortium. This woman was the first to become a mutant after the spiritual energy recovery. Then, she spent half a year to become a level 8 mutant. Ranked 5th is Dark Left-Hand Chu Kuang from the Primordial Gene Consortium. He's also a level 8 mutant. His left hand can turn into nothingness, making it impossible to guard against him. That's why he's called Dark Left Hand. Ranked 4th is Qin Bingyan from the Nuwa Creator Consortium. She's a level 8 mutant. It's said that she has the bloodline of the Fox clan in her body. Therefore, after the spiritual energy recovery, she awakened her bloodline and grew 8 foxtails. Ranked 3rd is Panga Biology Consortium's Ning Renwang. At this point, he paused for a moment and said in admiration, "The ultimate weapon ranked 2nd, Li Yuanhao, is a member of Fushi Taiji. Senior brother, Li has awakened a Dao sword in his body. He can take a person's head within 3,000 meters. What about the first place?" Yi Chen interrupted. Wang Hai looked displeased, but he still said fearfully, "The first place is Star Group's Yang Pajuan, a level 9 mutant. This person has endless tricks up his sleeves. He can summon wind and lightning, turn invisible, and burrow underground. He's omnipotent." Yang Pajuan? Yi Chen was stunned at first. Then realization flashed through his eyes. He did not know whether to laugh or cry. He knew it was Yang Tian without even thinking about it. This guy actually gave him a name like Defeating Armies. Luo Shuiyao said in disappointment, "Senior brother Wang, your Fushi Taiji is only ranked 2nd. Doesn't that mean that your Fushi Taiji can't compare to the Star Group?" "Forget it then. I'll just join the Star Group." Cough, cough, cough. Don't, junior sister. The strength of a consortium can't be measured by a mutant's combat strength alone. Wang Hai felt like he could not breathe when he heard that. He almost suffocated to death. He hurriedly said, "Fushi Taiji and the other 5 consortiums are not on good terms with the Star Group. Once you join the Star Group, it means that we're enemies. Moreover, the Star Group can't even protect itself now. Their Patriarch of Hell was suppressed by an ancient almighty on Mount Tai." He advised earnestly, "Yang Pajuan, who's ranked first on the mutant leaderboard, is currently being hunted down by the mutant powerhouses of the 5 consortiums on Mount Tai. He's probably dead by now. Without them, the star group is about to be destroyed. Don't stand on the wrong side. I see. Luo Shueiyao rolled her beautiful eyes and suddenly said, but I heard that other than the Patriarch of Hell, there's another legendary figure in the star group. This person was the #1 in China and Southeast Asia before this. You're talking about Mad Southern Yi, right? Wang Hai frowned in fear and said, there's indeed such a person. However, he has been missing for 10 months. Even when the Patriarch of Hell was suppressed, he didn't come out. It's obvious that he's dead. At this point, he regained his composure. Moreover, even if Mad Southern Yi is still alive, the 5 consortiums aren't afraid. As long as we use our secret weapons, even a heavenly god will be destroyed, let alone a mere Mad Southern Yi. Chapter 959. Mount Tai, also known as Mount Tai, Grandmaster Dai, Mount Tai, East Peak, and Tai Peak, was one of the 5 great mountains in China. Because of the majestic, and heavy mountain, it was revered as the supreme of the 5 mountains and the #1 mountain in the world. In ancient times, Mount Tai also symbolized the Mount Tai god, the great emperor of East Peak. It was regarded as the place closest to the gods in the world. Therefore, since ancient times, the emperors of the dynasties had tried to hold a ceremony at Mount Tai. The so-called ceremony was the act of the emperor reporting to the heavens and earth about his great feat of reorganizing the world. At the same time, he expressed his acceptance of the heavenly mandate to govern the world. An hour later, the group successfully arrived at the peak of Mount Tai, Jade Emperor Peak. Jade Emperor Peak was also known as Taiping Peak and Tianju Peak. It was named after the Jade Emperor Temple at the peak. As far as the eye could see, ancient pines were lush and clouds hung in the sky. There were many ancient ruins and cliff tablets. The surroundings were densely packed with people. There were many small hills in the middle. These hills were already filled with people from various forces. They huddled together for warmth and looked at the people around them with warning expressions. In the past month, the various forces had fought countless battles for control of the hills, causing the air to still be filled with the pungent smell of blood. Through these hills, one could see the Jade Emperor Temple in the distance, as well as the purple fruit tree growing on the cliff. On it, there was a purple fruit the size of an adult's fist. Under the reflection of the rising sun, the purple fruit emitted a 5-colored glow. It was dazzling, like a natural Tao embryo. A strange fragrance wafted, tempting one's heart. Yi Chen's eyes were attracted as well. A gleam flashed through his eyes. Purple embryo fruit. It's actually the purple embryo fruit. The so-called purple embryo fruit could bring a mortal back to life and grow flesh. On the other hand, a cultivator's cultivation base could increase tremendously or even increase by a level. Of course, it was only limited to those below nascent soul, because at nascent soul, one would mainly cultivate their primordial spirit. Yi Chen came to a realization. No wonder the scheming patriarch risked his life to come here. He clearly wants to step into mastery stage golden core through the purple embryo fruit. However, the purple embryo fruit was not ripe yet. That was also the reason why all the forces present were still maintaining a relatively peaceful situation. Once the purple embryo fruit ripened, an unprecedented battle would break out. In the distance, on top of a few mountains closest to the purple embryo fruit, there were several figures with powerful auras standing there. Did you see that? The young man on the second mountain on the left is the 5th-ranked dark left-hand Chu Quan. At that moment, a mutant next to Yi Chen pointed and secretly introduced it to the people around him. Yi Chen looked in the direction of his finger and saw that the young man, called Chu Quan, was bald. At that moment, he was crossing his arms in front of his chest and resting with his eyes closed. The power that he faintly emitted caused many people to be secretly shocked. The one with 8 fox tails beside Chu Quan is Qin Bingyan, ranked 4th on the mutant ranking of the Nuwa Creator Consortium? Someone else asked. That's right, it's Miss Qin. The person from before nodded and said, It is said that her father is a high-ranking official of the Nuwa deity Creator Corporation. Before the spirit energy revival, the Qin family's financial resources could be said to be a giant in Bashu. It's said that Miss Qin possesses the bloodline of the Fox clan, and that her every word and action is naturally charming and can be said to be a stunner. Now that I've seen her today, she really lives up to her reputation. Many people were astounded, and their eyes were filled with amazement. Yichen glanced at the lady named Qin Bingyan and released his divine consciousness to sense the bloodline in her body. It really is the bloodline of the Fox clan. He nodded to himself. Looks like it's a bloodline atavism, and its grade isn't low either. Looks like this Qin family should have a nine-tailed celestial fox ancestor. Could it be a descendant of Daji during the Shang dynasty? Almost at that moment, a seductive woman dressed like a demon concubine in the distance trembled, and a trace of fear appeared on her pretty face. A young man in a suit beside her noticed it and immediately asked, "Bingyan, are you all right?" "No." Qin Bingyan shook her head slightly and looked at the crowd in a daze. She gritted her teeth lightly. "I don't know why, but I felt like someone was spying on me just now. It made me shudder, but I couldn't find the person." "How is that possible?" The young man in the suit's expression changed slightly, and he was a little surprised. "You're a level 8 mutant. You can even deal with ordinary level 9 mutants. I suspect that there are mutants above level 9 at the scene." Qin Bingyan secretly inhaled sharply and said with a trembling voice, "It's very likely that the other party is an ancient almighty or an ancient sage." The young man in the suit immediately revealed a wary expression. "There's no need to look anymore." Qin Bingyan shook her head and said, "Maybe it's just my imagination. Our top priority right now is to think of a way to communicate with the senior in the Jade Emperor Temple. We can't let the other 4 consortiums succeed. We still have to find Yang Pejuan." The young man in the suit gritted his teeth and enunciated word by word. "This guy is a rabbit." He hid the moment he saw that he was no match for the 5 mutants. "Your senses aren't bad." Yi Chun chuckled softly and expanded his divine consciousness to almost cover a radius of 3,000 meters. He tried to find Yang Tian and the Patriarch of Hell. However, when his divine consciousness reached the vicinity of the Jade Emperor Temple, it was bounced back by a mysterious force. Formation. Yi Chun looked over and a hint of curiosity flashed through his eyes. There's actually a formation around the Jade Emperor Temple. Could it be that the group of ancient almighties who suppressed the Patriarch of Hell are inside? Just as he was about to forcefully invade with his divine consciousness, a strange expression could not help but appear on his face. This was because under the perception of his divine consciousness, he discovered that there were 2 pandas walking over from 8,000 meters away. There were 2 pandas, one big and one small. The smaller one was chubby, with a round belly and a pair of dark circles under its eyes. It was walking leisurely towards them like a ball rolling on the ground. The big one was relatively tall. Every few steps it took with its butt in the air, it would look around guiltily. The big panda tiptoed and whispered as it walked, "Silly Chong, are you sure your idea is okay? Will they really not notice me? Aya, can you stop glancing around like a rat? Even a fool can tell that there's something wrong with you." The small panda said as it rolled, "In the past, when I was in the zoo, this was how I secretly ate the 6 flavor Remania pills that the director hid. Also, can you not call me Silly Chong? I'm called Di Xiao Chong. Let me remind you again." "All right, Silly Chong," the giant panda muttered. "It's a pity that Yang Tian, was forced to this extent. The Patriarch has really tricked me this time." Just as he was about to say something, he suddenly realized that someone was looking at them. He hurriedly shut his mouth and swaggered past everyone with the small panda. The people from Fushi Taiji asked impatiently, "Haven't you found Yang Pejuan yet?" "No, we sent a lot of people. We've almost searched the surrounding 5 kilometers, but we still can't find this brat." Someone replied, "Continue to send more people. We have to find him before the mutant fruit ripens. If he's alive, we have to see him. If he's dead, we have to see his corpse." While they were talking, although they saw 2 pandas, one big and one small, pass by them, they did not pay much attention to them. What cute pandas! At this moment, an extremely joyful voice rang out. A woman in a purple dress walked over quickly, then hugged the two pandas in her arms. It's Shan Lingxi from the Spiritual Energy Recovery Consortium. She's ranked 6th on the mutant leaderboard. Someone recognized her at a glance. Someone saw Shan Lingxi hugging the two pandas tightly in her arms and said jealously, "Oh my goddess has been taken over by two pandas just like that. How great would it be if I were those two pandas?" Where did these two pandas come from? The people from the Spiritual Energy Recovery Consortium kindly reminded her, "Young mistress, be careful. They might be mutated beasts and might be aggressive." "It's fine. How aggressive can such cute pandas be?" Shan Lingxi shook her head nonchalantly. At the next moment, she hugged the big panda even tighter, and her chest could be said to be in seamless contact. "Damn it, this woman smells like a fox. I can't take it anymore." A suppressed voice was heard. Then, under everyone's gaze, the big panda in Shan Lingxi's arms swayed and turned into a person. A living man. He was hugged by Shan Lingxi just like that. Everyone froze. Shan Lingxi looked at the man in her arms in a daze. She did not come back to her senses for a moment. P.S. I made everyone wait for the 4th chapter. I've finished updating it today. There will be a new chapter tomorrow. There should be no less than 10 chapters. It will be tomorrow night. Please give me monthly votes and recommendation votes. Chapter 960. At the peak of Mount Tai, Jade Emperor Peak. At that moment, the world was dead silent. Everyone stared blankly at the man in Shan Lingxi's arms. They felt that their brains could not react. Shan Lingxi was clearly hugging a panda earlier. How did she suddenly turn into a man? Shan Lingxi was even more stunned. Under everyone's gaze, Yang Tian, who was in her arms, smiled awkwardly. Can I say that this is all a misunderstanding?" At that moment, he even wanted to die. In order to avoid being targeted by the 5 consortiums, he could only listen to the little panda's suggestion and transform into a panda in an attempt to get away with it. Seeing that no one noticed their abnormality, who would have thought that Shan Lingxi would actually be so adorable? Without saying a word, she hugged him in her arms. That was why her technique was broken. After Shan Lingxi snapped out her daze, she subconsciously let go of her hands and threw Yang Tian and the little panda out. Her pretty face was so red that it looked like it was about to drip blood. "Yang Pejuan, he's Yang Pejuan. Stop him, don't let him escape." Almost at that moment, the people from Panga Biology recognized Yang Tian's identity. A level 8 mutant charged over in an instant. "Sha-chan, let's run." Yang Tian's expression changed slightly. He immediately looked around and tried to tell the little panda to run, but he realized that a round ball had already escaped 100 feet away. F*CK. F*CKU. Yang Tian's expression changed instantly. "Get lost." He threw out a punch and sent the level 8 mutant flying. Without saying a word, he ran away. "Kill him. You must kill him." Shan Lingxi ordered the person who had recovered from the spiritual energy. She was extremely embarrassed and annoyed. She, Shan Lingxi, was the strongest mutant ranked 6th on the mutant leaderboard. She was also a member of the Spiritual Energy Recovery Consortium and was known as a goddess by the people. Now, she was actually taken advantage of by a man. If word got out, not only would her reputation be damaged, even the prestige of the consortium behind her would plummet. At that moment, more than 10 mutants jumped out from the Spiritual Energy Recovery Consortium's camp. Each of them was holding an extremely thick firearm. Bang, bang, bang. The firearms that had been modified by advanced technology were unleashed at full force, and the sound of gunfire was deafening. The bullets were like a plague of locusts, blotting out the sky and covering the earth. Even a level 7 mutant would be riddled with holes if you were to face them head-on. This was the power of a financial group. Holy shit! The moment the gun was fired, Yang Tian sensed the danger behind him. His figure instantly became like an old ape in the mountains, extremely agile, turning into an afterimage as he leaped from mountain to mountain. Ah, 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 ah. Bullets whizzed past him, causing many mutants to be injured. Screams of agony could be heard as people fell to the ground one after another. Beauty Shun, aren't you being too ruthless? Yang Tian teased as he ran. At least we've been intimate, husband and wife. Is this how you treat me? Bastard. Shun Lingxi was so angry that her pretty face turned livid. She was also a little shocked that Yang Tian could actually avoid the path of the bullets. Change to a rocket launcher and kill him. She immediately issued another order. Wait. At that moment, a young man in golden armor from the Primordial Gene Consortium stepped out and stopped him. This person can avoid the path of bullets. Ordinary firearms are useless against him. In order to prevent hurting our own people, I suggest that the 5 of us attack together. Its dark left hand, ranked 5th on the mutant leaderboard, Chu Kuang. Someone revealed the young man's identity. Chu Kuang is right. Qin Bingyan from the Nuwa Creator Consortium also said he was injured previously and has been running around. He doesn't have time to recover at all. If the 5 of us attack together, we will definitely be able to kill him. Attack! A sword gleam streaked across the sky, and a purple-clothed young man slashed at Yang Tian with a golden sword in his hand. Many people exclaimed, "The ultimate weapon, Li Yuanhao, ranked 2nd on the mutant leaderboard, has attacked." Boom! Almost at that moment, another 4 figures with powerful auras turned into afterimages and rushed towards Yang Tian. Qin Bingyan, dark left hand, Chu Kuang, Ning Renwang, and Shun Lingxi have also attacked. Oh my god, the 5 strongest mutants have attacked together. It seems like their desire to kill Yang Pejuan is very strong. Everyone could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. Can Yang Pejuan hold on? Someone asked. A mutant who had been here for a month shook his head and said, "It's hard to say." He tried to barge into the Jade Emperor Temple to save the Patriarch of Hell, but he was severely injured. He's just an arrow at the end of its flight now. F***CK, you guys are the geniuses of the 5 consortiums after all. How dare you join forces against me? Don't you have any shame? Sensing the 5 extreme killing intent behind him, Yang Tian's expression changed slightly. If you have the guts, fight me alone. And Shun Lingxi, are you really willing to join forces with outsiders to kill your husband? You heartless woman. As soon as he finished speaking, a trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. Killing intent flashed in the eyes of the ultimate weapon, Li Yuanhao, who was ranked 2nd on the mutant leaderboard. Yang Pejuan, you will definitely die today. When the 5 strongest mutants attacked, their might was naturally earth-shattering, almost causing the entire ground of the Jade Emperor Peak to shake violently. Li Yuanhao, you pretty boy. Don't tell me you want to kill me because you saw me being intimate with Shun Lingxi? Yang Tian cursed as he ran. Die. Li Yuanhao's expression was extremely cold. He slashed at his back with his sword. The sword pierced through the void, and the battle power that erupted was comparable to a supreme giant. Break! Yang Tian roared angrily. Without any hesitation, he threw out an extremely violent punch. Azura, heaven-suppressing kill, slaughter all living beings with one strike. Rumble. Li Yuanhao's sword gleam immediately collapsed. Yang Tian was also forced back a few steps. He could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood, and his face was pale. He was the only level 9 mutant on the mutant leaderboard, and he was ranked 1st. If he was at his peak, the 5 people in front of him would not be his match at all. However, after the Patriarch of Hell barged into the Jade Emperor Temple and was suppressed, he tried to attack the Jade Emperor Temple to save the Patriarch. In the end, he was sent flying by the ancient Almighty inside and was injured. Oh my god! Yang Pejuan vomited blood. Looks like he's destined to die here today. What a pity. Yang Pejuan is ranked 1st on the mutant leaderboard and suppressed all the mutants. Perhaps he might be able to step into the godly state one day. Many people shook their heads. It's a pity that the elites of the Star Group have been sent to suppress the Beast Horde. Otherwise, Yang Pejuan wouldn't be attacked from all sides. Someone sighed. Once Yang Pejuan dies, the Star Group will have no one capable. By then, the situation in China will change again. Just as the 5 mutants were about to attack Yang Tian again, they heard an extremely clear voice beside them, who said that there's no one in the star group. Chapter 9, 61. Who said that there's no one in the star group? This voice was neither loud nor soft, but it was like a sudden clap of thunder. Every single word was transmitted into the ears of everyone present. When he finished speaking, everyone's attention could not help but be distracted. Everyone's attention couldn't help but be distracted. Then, everyone's gazes uniformly looked towards the direction of the voice. Even the ultimate weapon, Li Yuanhao and the other mutants were no exception. Their gazes were cold, as if they wanted to see who dared to speak rudely in such a situation. On the other hand, Yang Tian was overjoyed. Under everyone's gaze, Yi Chun, who was standing next to Wang Hai, walked out slowly while carrying his daughter. "Why, you're crazy." Wang Hai was shocked by this sudden scene. His expression changed, and he hurriedly berated, "Bastard, go back. Don't drag me along if you want to die." At that moment, he even had the intention to kill Yi Chun. "Idiot, don't you see what kind of situation this is?" If the 5 consortiums joined forces to fight the star group, even Yang Pejuan, the #1 legend on the mutant leaderboard, would die. Yet, you suddenly stood out with a roar. Isn't that courting death? You might even implicate me, since he was already like this, let alone the others. Whoosh! Almost at that moment, the crowd around Yi Chun retreated to the side when everyone's gazes swept over. Only Yi Wushuang, Luo Tianya, Luo Shuiyao, and the rest stood side by side with Yi Chun. They watched everything calmly. Wang Hai subconsciously wanted to pull Luo Shuiyao's hand. "Junior sister Yao Yao, quick, retreat to the back with me. It's his business if he wants to die." However, he was met with Luo Tianya's cold gaze. Just this glance made him feel as if he was in a cultivation hell. Who is this person? Many people looked at Yi Chun in shock. Could he be from the star group? Someone frowned and said, "But I've never seen this person before." One had to admit that ever since Yi Chun recovered to nascent soul in the Kunlun ruins, a nascent soul had been condensed in his body. The nascent soul was also called the acquired Dao embryo, so his appearance had changed slightly. Even though he didn't seem to have changed much, his temperament and demeanor had undergone a tremendous change. Thus, if one wasn't extremely familiar with him, it would be very difficult to recognize him in a short period of time. Many people saw that he was as handsome as a god. For a moment, they were slightly dazed. Even Shun Lingxi and Qin Bingyan, the only ones among the 5 mutants, were no exception. "If there's nothing wrong with your ears, I think so." Yichen walked out slowly while carrying his daughter, looking calm. The level 6 mutant sneered as killing intent flashed through his eyes. "So, you're from the star group? Do you dare tell me your name?" "A mere ant doesn't deserve to know my name." Yichen stopped looking at him. He took a step out and walked to Yang Tian, who was far away slowly, as if he was taking a stroll in the park. The little fellow in his arms was extremely excited. Uncle Yang, where's Brother Hao? Why don't I see him?" Hua! The surrounding people were in an uproar. They were stunned by Yi Chen's arrogance. One had to know that there were almost no upper echelons of the star group present on Jade Emperor Peak today. The only upper echelon, Yang Pejuan, was being attacked by everyone. However, Yi Chun dared to boast shamelessly under such circumstances. Could it be that he thought he could sweep through the world? "You're courting death." The level 6 mutant was furious. His body swayed, and his body petrified instantly. He slapped Yi Chen's back like a stone man. He was a level 6 mutant after all. When had he ever been looked down upon like this? This is the petrification technique. Someone at the scene immediately exclaimed when he saw that this person has awakened the petrification technique. He can instantly turn himself into a stone man. His body is extremely hard. Even a rocket launcher can't do any damage to him. "Get lost." Yi Chen's expression remained the same as he spoke slowly. The word "get lost" exploded in the man's ears like a thunderclap. It was as if a nuclear bomb had exploded in his ears. The terrifying sound wave followed his eardrums and attacked his entire body domineeringly. Bang! He immediately let out a blood-curdling scream, and then his body exploded into a cloud of blood mist in front of everyone's eyes. A single word, and a level 6 mutant died without a complete corpse. The place fell into dead silence all of a sudden. Everyone looked at Yi-Chen differently now. An expert. This person is also an expert. He killed a level 6 mutant with a single sentence. This person must be a level 7 mutant, or even a level 8 mutant. No wonder this person dared to call himself a member of the Star Group. So he has the confidence. However, even so, it'll be difficult for him to save Yang Pujuan from the 5 strongest mutants, right? Countless people were discussing. On the other hand, the pupils of the 5 mutants constricted. Although they could not see through Yi-Chen, they could not help but stop underestimating him based on what Yi-Chen had done earlier. Wang Hai, who was in the crowd, looked like he had seen a ghost when he saw that. He pointed at Yi-Chen and Luo Shueiyao from time to time. Why you? The other party killed a level 6 mutant instantly, and he, Wang Hai, was also a level 6 mutant. Didn't that mean that the young man in the distance, who he had been hostile to along the way, could kill him easily? Thinking to this point, he almost fainted. Subsequently, another level 7 mutant stood out from the Fushi Taiji Consortium's camp. He glared at Yi-Chen, ****. How dare you kill someone from Fushi Taiji? Almost at that moment, everyone from Fushi Taiji looked at Yi-Chen with killing intent on their faces. Their eyes were extremely cold. The atmosphere turned cold. Meanwhile, Yi-Chen's calm expression did not change at all. Not only do I dare to kill someone from Fushi Taiji, but I also dare to destroy Fushi Taiji. Do you believe me? This person is too arrogant. How dare he look down on Fushi Taiji? He's courting death. How dare you insult Fushi Taiji? Kill him and restore the dignity of Fushi Taiji. As a few furious voices were heard, a level 7 mutant subsequently slapped Yi-Chen with a cold smile on his face. He aimed at Yi-Chen's head. Die, brat. The man's smile was extremely ferocious. His arm was like a giant tree trunk that could only be hugged by a few people. It was terrifying. However, Yi-Chen did not do anything else. He merely lifted his head and glanced at him. A wisp of sword intent surged from the depths of his deep eyes. The level 7 mutant immediately screamed and fell from the sky with a thud. His body was immediately split into 2. His eyes were wide open, as if he had died with a grievance. In just a short span of a breath, a level 7 mutant died. Until now, no one saw how Yi-Chen attacked clearly. They only felt that their vision blurred, and life and death were decided. Chapter 962. Oh my God, even a level 7 mutant was killed instantly. How is this possible? Could this person be a level 8 mutant? The 4 mutant kings of the Star Group are only level 7 mutants. When did a level 8 mutant appear? Everyone could not help but cry out in shock. They could not believe what they were seeing. Plop! Wang Hai fell heavily to the ground. He felt as if all the energy in his body had been sucked out. As killing a level 7 mutant, his body trembled as he stammered. What kind of people did I get to know? Meanwhile, the 5 consortiums were dead silent. Especially the people from Fushi Taiji. It had only been a short while, but Fushi Taiji had already lost a level 6 mutant and a level 7 mutant. How could the resources needed to nurture a level 6 mutant be a small amount? They looked at Yi-Chen with both fury and fear as they thought to this point. After all, even a level 7 mutant was killed instantly. Yi-Chen's ability was intriguing. A few seconds later, the final weapon, Li Yuanhao, looked at Yi-Chen fixedly. Who exactly are you, sir? The combat strength that Yi-Chen displayed consecutively made him realize that Yi-Chen was not much weaker than him. He had to take him seriously. I've already said that you guys don't deserve to know my name. Get the big shots behind you to come out. Yi-Chen placed one hand behind his back and looked at everyone coldly. As soon as these words were spoken, the entire place fell silent. Yi-Chen was too arrogant. Even the final weapon, Li Yuanhao, who was ranked number 2 on the mutant leaderboard, was looked down upon. The most hot-tempered person on the mutant leaderboard Chu Kuang sneered. You sure have a big mouth. I like to see where you get your arrogance from. His face was grim as soon as he said that. He was the first to attack and charged at Yichun. He extended his left hand like a huge hand that was stirring up a clear spring. In an instant, it turned into nothingness and merged with the void. His left hand has turned into nothingness, as expected of the dark left hand. Just that left hand alone is unpredictable like a ghost. It's impossible to guard against, and it's a sure kill move. Someone exclaimed. Boom! Monstrous energy waves swept through the air and surged toward Yichun. They were unfathomable like a vast ocean, causing many people around to have goosebumps. Yichun remained calm when faced with such a situation. Subsequently, he suddenly waved his sleeve. In an instant, a violent gust of wind blew between heaven and earth. Chu Kuang's body was swept up by the strong wind like a dead leaf. He then turned into a small black dot and disappeared into the sky. Oh my God, am I hallucinating? He sent a level 8 mutant flying with a wave of his sleeve? Like swatting a fly? Where did this god come from? Isn't he a little too terrifying? I've never heard of this person before. At this moment, everyone was dumbstruck, and they were shocked to the point their jaws almost hit the ground as if they'd seen a ghost. As for the Grand Miss Jean's camp, it was deathly silent. The Primordial Gene Consortium had painstakingly nurtured a genius who was ranked 6th on the mutant leaderboard. Yet, he was sent flying with a wave of his sleeve? They were not the only ones. Even the people from the 6 consortiums, including Pangu Biogenetics, Fushi Taiji, Spiritual Energy Recovery, and Yua Godmaker, were shocked. Are you really from the star group? At this moment, Qin Bingyan from the Yua Godmaker Consortium smiled sweetly. This is only a grudge between the 5 consortiums and the star group. Please don't interfere, sir. As she smiled, everyone felt as if 100 flowers had dimmed. Then they felt their bodies go limp, and they could not muster any strength. Even the 4 mutants present were momentarily dazed. In the end, weaponly Yuanhao bit the tip of his tongue and said, What a powerful enchantment spell. Qin Bingyan smiled confidently. This was the innate skill she had after awakening the fox bloodline in her body. It was the enchantment spell. She was extremely confident in this skill because she had never failed before. However, when she met Yi Chen's gaze confidently, she realized that the scene before her had changed. It was replaced by an endless mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. Blurg! Her face suddenly turned pale, and she spat a mouthful of blood. She cried out, How did you break my enchantment spell so quickly? He must be a saint. Shun Lingxi, who had recovered her spiritual energy, seemed to have recalled something. Her expression changed suddenly as she looked at Yichun in fear. Let's go. This person is too powerful. Let's enter the Jade Emperor Temple quickly and seek that senior's protection. Almost at that moment, Fushi Taiji's ultimate weapon, Li Yuanhao, immediately made a decision. Without saying a word, he led everyone toward the Jade Emperor Temple in the distance. The rest of the people followed suit. At this point, they finally realized the difference between them and Yichun. Yang Tian reminded immediately, Old Yi, don't let them escape. They've already reached an agreement with the old man in the Jade Emperor Temple. Yichun stretched his hand out. His giant palm held up the sky. It extended 300 meters away and covered an area of 200 to 300 meters. That kind of power was almost suffocating. Get lost. While the people from the 5 consortiums were shocked, they unleashed their most powerful attack in an attempt to break Yi Chen's seal. At the next moment, Yi Chen pressed his palm down. It shook heaven and earth. The people from the 5 consortiums were all slammed into the ground by this palm, leaving a huge palm print in the ground. When he retracted his hand, there was only a shocking bloodstain in the huge palm print. There was no one alive. Dead silence. The world was dead silent. Yang Tian was dumbfounded when he saw that. Holy **T. How did old Yi become so powerful? Everyone was shocked. Those were the elite forces of the 5 consortiums. There were even people on the mutant leaderboard among them. However, they were killed by Yi Chen with a single slap. Heavens! Is he still human? Could this person be the ancient almighty who awakened behind the star group? If news of this gets out, it will definitely cause a storm that will shock the entire world. The 5 consortiums will go crazy. There was no one who was not shocked. Everyone's body and gaze were trembling. Yi Chen's strength was truly beyond their imagination. On the other hand, Fushi Taiji's Wang Hai had fainted long ago. Only his wet pants proved how much shock and fear he had experienced. Yi Chen's expression remained the same in the face of everyone's gazes. He then walked to Yang Tian slowly and smiled lightly. "How do you feel?" "I won't die." Yang Tian smiled in annoyance. Although that was what he said, blood flowed from the corner of his lips again. Yi Chen flicked his finger, and a medicinal pill landed on his hand. Subsequently, he looked straight at the Jade Emperor Temple in the distance. Is the Patriarch inside? Chapter 963. That's right. Yang Tian nodded repeatedly. There was a trace of fear in his eyes as he looked at the Jade Emperor Temple. Old Yi, there's an ancient almighty sleeping in the temple. He calls himself Saint Blazing Heaven. He's the one who suppressed the Patriarch inside. I know you've gone to Shang Santian and your strength has increased greatly, but you must not be careless. At this point, he could not help but remind, these sleeping old fellows are as cunning as ghosts. I know. Take the medicinal pill first and recover from your injuries. Yi Chen smiled nonchalantly. Just as Yang Tian was about to swallow the medicinal pill, he suddenly felt his vision blur. It was as if a hurricane had hit him, and the medicinal pill in his hand disappeared. Yi Chen focused his gaze and looked at a round little fatty with distinct black and white skin next to Yang Tian. It was the little panda from before. It looked like it was only the size of a 1-year-old child. At this moment, the little panda sat on the ground with Yang Tian's medicinal pill in his hand. He gulped. What a fragrant candy. F*CKU. That's mine. Yang Tian's face turned green. Without another word, he pounced over to snatch the medicinal pill back. However, the panda was even faster than him. It stuffed the medicinal pill into its mouth in an instant and crushed it before swallowing it. It's so delicious. It's even more delicious than the director's private collection of 6 flavory mania pills. The little fatty smacked his lips and ignored Yang Tian's wails. He looked at Yi Chen pitifully with a pair of dark circles under his eyes. Kind man, do you have any more of those candies? Trump? A gleam flashed through Yi Chen's eyes. He then looked at Yang Tian. Where did you get this guy? I picked him up. Yang Tian seemed to be tired of scolding and said weakly, I picked him up on the road when I was being chased by the 5 consortiums. This guy pestered me shamelessly, saying that he escaped from the Tianfu Zoo. Oh yeah, his name is Sha Chong. A mutated panda? It's bitter. The little fatty said, I escaped from a zoo. I got lost with my 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th masters. As it spoke, it counted with its fingers, I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten for so many days. I'm so young, helpless, and pitiful. There was a faint mist gathering in its pair of dark circles. Grievance, grief, sadness. Yang Tian couldn't take it anymore. All right, I'm afraid of you. All right, you ate the pill just now. However, Yi Chen did not fall for it. He took out his phone and searched for the Tianfu Zoo online. He saw a title immediately. Half a year ago, a meteorite fell into our city's Tianfu Zoo. Overnight, ferocious beasts were released. Later, after the interception of the staff, there was still a Siberian tiger, a big gray wolf, a black bear, a snow leopard, and a newborn panda missing. Yi Chen took a good look at the panda before him after reading it. He suspected that the 1st master, 2nd master, and 3rd master that it mentioned were the ones who had gone missing. He took out another pill and threw it to Yang Tian. This time, Yang Tian was smart and swallowed it without saying anything. He then smacked his lips and said, This candy is really good. At this moment, a dense phenomenon suddenly filled the air, and then someone said, That fruit has ripened. Following that, everyone could not help but look at the fruit in the distance. Everyone couldn't help but look at the mutant fruit in the distance. They saw that the mutant fruit suddenly had a purple aura explode above it, and it shone brilliantly, as if the evening sun was about to set on the mountain. Snatch it. It belongs to whoever snatches it. Even though Yi Chen's thunderous methods earlier had completely shocked everyone, there were still people who could not hold it in now that the fruit was right in front of them. In an instant, dozens of figures charged forward. During this process, screams could be heard from time to time. Clearly, these mutants were attacking each other along the way. That was the reality. None of them wanted the other to snatch the ripe purple embryo fruit that was emitting a phenomenon before them. Yichen watched that scene with mockery on his face. He had no intention of attacking at all. On the other hand, Yang Tian panicked. Old Yi, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and snatch it. That's what the patriarch wants. Yichen did not explain. Finally, a level 7 mutant approached the fruit. Just when he was about to reach out to pluck it in ecstasy. Hiss, hiss, hiss. A snake as thick as a finger suddenly fell onto him. What's that? The man subconsciously wanted to slap it away, but the moment he did so, the snake, which was as thick as a finger, suddenly grew many times larger. A ferocious mouth came biting down. That person's entire arm was forcefully bitten off. Then, he was swallowed by the giant snake. Such a bloody and cruel scene immediately caused the people who were charging forward to stop in their tracks. Their scalps went numb as they watched this scene. At the next moment, everyone felt the darkness above their heads, as if something was blocking the light. They looked up at the same time. What they saw was a giant bat that was over 30 meters in size. The bat completely spread its wings and descended like a black curtain that covered the sky. Above it, demonic energy surged into the sky. On top of the giant bat, a young man in black clothes with pitch-black eyes leaped down. The bat suddenly transformed into a burly man and landed behind him. Someone's pupils constricted violently before he cried out in shock. It's the young master of the Black Mountain Ridge, Black Whirlwind. The moment that was said, an extreme storm was stirred up in the crowd. What? From the Black Mountain Ridge? Could he be from the old demon Black Mountain? After the spiritual energy recovery, many animals mutated into mutated beasts. Among them, there were often some unique mutated beasts that advanced to demon kings. In the Black Mountain Ridge, in the eastern mountains, there was a demon king that was comparable to an ancient almighty. It was said that this bat had turned into a spirit and called itself the old demon Black Mountain. It ruled over many mutated beasts in the eastern mountains. A demon king that was comparable to an ancient almighty was something that even the 6 consortiums had to respect. They did not dare to offend him. After all, a demon king could command a group of beasts. That kind of combat power would increase exponentially. TSK. The young man in black heard every single word of the crowd's discussion. A hint of mockery appeared on his cold face. I didn't expect you to know my name. What if I say that the Black Mountain Ridge has taken a fancy to this mutant fruit? I didn't know that it was the young master of the Black Whirlwind. Please forgive us. Your father is the peerless demon king of China. How would we dare to compete with you? Many people shook their heads. At least you know what's good for you. The young man in black smiled in satisfaction. Then he turned around and said to the burly man behind him, Uncle Ba, pick the mutant fruit. The burly man nodded slightly and walked slowly towards the purple embryo fruit. The people around him could only watch, not daring to move at all. At that moment, a calm voice was heard. Don't you have to ask for my opinion before touching my things? Chapter 964. As the voice fell, the entire world suddenly fell silent. The entire world suddenly fell silent, and only the sound of everyone's breathing could be heard. When everyone looked at Yichun, they came to a realization. Subsequently, a show flashed through their eyes. Yichun's method of killing the people from the 5 consortiums had shocked them. The Black Mountain Ridge's background was equally terrifying. Now that the 2 of them had collided, they were happy to see the outcome no matter what. Almost the moment Yichun spoke, the young man in black looked over and suddenly grinned. Do you dare to say that again? Although he was smiling, there was endless murderous intent surging in his eyes. The aura that he inadvertently revealed caused the people around him to shudder. I said, get lost. An extremely calm voice came from Yi Chen's mouth slowly. At first, it was very calm. However, in the end, It was as if 100 bolts of lightning had exploded in the sky. The young man in black's expression changed. He could not help but take a few steps back, and a trace of blood appeared at the corner of his lips. So powerful. That was the only thought in his mind. He was the son of the Demon King, the Black Mountain Ridge demon. Even though he was not the strongest among his brothers, he was not weaker than a level 9 mutant. However, Yichen almost severely injured him with just a sentence. How could he not be shocked by such a technique? At the same time, the burly man behind him stood in front of him almost at the same time. He looked at Yichen fearfully. Meanwhile, the people around them held their breaths. The young man in black said slowly, "I'm the son of the Black Mountain Ridge's Demon King, the Black Mountain Ridge. May I know who you are?" He mentioned the Black Mountain Ridge demon's name without hesitation to warn Yichen. At that moment, Yang Tan, who was next to Yichen, said softly, "Old Yi, the Black Mountain Ridge demon is a demon king from the Eastern Mountains. He's also the one who controlled the beast horde to invade China's cities. It can be said that he's the Star Group's mortal enemy." With that, he took a step forward and sneered at the young man in black. "Old bat, do you still remember me? It's you." The young man in black's eyes focused as killing intent filled his body. "Star Group's Yang Pejuan, you're still alive." Before he came, he had heard that the Star Group's Patriarch of Hell had been suppressed, and the fate of the Star Group's #1 general, Yang Pejuan, was unknown. "How can I die before I destroy your Black Mountain Ridge and kill your father, that old bat?" Yang Tian grinned. "Bastard." The young man in black was furious. He then looked at Yichen. "Sir, I don't want to be your enemy. However, the person behind you is the enemy of Black Mountain Ridge. Please hand him to me. Black Mountain Ridge will definitely reward you handsomely." "Ha ha, you really are an idiot." Yang Tian laughed out loud. "Star Group was founded by Old Yi. Now that the real person is right in front of you, you actually don't know him." "The founder of Star Group?" The young man in black glared at Yichen as soon as he said that. Subsequently, he seemed to have recalled something and cried out, "Why, you're mad, Southern Yi?" As his voice fell, the world fell into dead silence. Everyone felt as if they had been struck by countless bolts of lightning. They stared blankly at the skinny figure in the arena. Why mad Southern Yi? The former #1 person in China. The former #1 person in Southeast Asia. So he didn't die. Instead, he returned. No wonder he claimed to be from the Star Group the moment he appeared. No wonder he was able to display battle prowess comparable to the Patriarch of Hell and kill the people from the 5 consortiums. Almost at that moment, countless people's eyes twitched and their bodies trembled. Their minds were filled with a rumble. The former Emperor of China had returned. "I've only left for less than a year." Under everyone's gaze, Yichen took a step forward. "You guys have forgotten about my thunder and rain in the past. Looks like I didn't kill you guys completely. Run." The young man in black urged the burly man without even thinking. "Uncle Ba, run, run quickly. Only my father can deal with this person." "Roar." The burly man roared, and his body expanded. Then he turned into a huge bat. He spread his wings and carried the young man in black to escape. "Where do you think you're going?" Yichen smirked coldly. He extended his hand forward like a majestic mountain ridge and covered the two of them directly. "No." The young man in black and the giant bat under him roared in unison. "Mad Southern Yi, you can't kill us. I'm the son of the Black Mountain Demon." "Shut up." As a mutant, you've repeatedly invaded human cities, causing countless families to be destroyed and the world to be in chaos. If I don't kill you, how am I going to explain it to the people in the world? If I don't kill you, how am I going to pay tribute to the souls of the humans who died in your hands? Yichen's gaze remained the same. He grabbed the two of them with one hand and held them in his hand. No matter how they struggled, it was useless. Bang! With a loud bang, the two of them turned into bloody mist in his hand. Not even their bones were left. Everyone was shocked. Every pore and every cell in their body was trembling, and even their souls were trembling. The Black Mountain Ridge was going crazy. That thought appeared in everyone's mind. Yichen killing the people from a Black Mountain Ridge was equivalent to completely falling out with the Black Mountain Ridge. Yang Tian was also shocked by Yi Chen's continuous attacks. He could not help but gulp and say, "Old Yi, your combat strength is comparable to a demon king, like the Black Mountain Demon." Demon king? Yi Chen chuckled softly and did not explain. He scanned the entire place slowly with his cold gaze. He was like a godly king that suppressed heaven and earth. No one dared to look him in the eye. It was because he was Mad Southern Yi. It was because he had used his actions to prove that even with the recovery of spiritual energy, even if everyone cultivated, Mad Southern Yi was still the same Mad Southern Yi. After Yi Chun scanned the entire place, he extended his hand and waved at the purple embryo fruit. The purple embryo fruit landed in his hand and was sealed by a spirit sealing talisman to prevent the medicinal effects from escaping. After doing all of this, he finally looked at the Jade Emperor Temple in the distance. "I'd like to see who this legendary ancient almighty is." With that, his body swayed. In the blink of an eye, he appeared outside the Jade Emperor Temple. The Jade Emperor Temple was also known as the Tai Ching Palace and the Jade Emperor Temple. No one knew when it was built and who built it. However, since ancient times, this place had been used by the ancient emperors to set up the altar for the huge ceremony of heavenly worship. In front of the temple, there was a stone tablet that was 6 meters tall and about 2 meters wide. The stone tablet was simple and thick, but there was not a single word on it. It was a wordless stone tablet. Yi Chen extended his hand and touched the surface of the tablet gently. Then, mysterious divine patterns surged on the stone tablet. Subsequently, an ancient power surged. Under his gaze, a line of words that looked like swimming tadpoles suddenly appeared on the surface of the tablet. On the other hand, Yi Chen's calm expression changed. Chapter 965. Inside the Jade Emperor Temple. In a relatively remote stone room, the surrounding stone walls were densely inlaid with red stones, illuminating the entire stone room. The layout of the entire stone room was very simple. Apart from the meditation mat, there was only a huge cauldron. It was a huge bronze cauldron that was more than 3 meters tall. There was a formation engraved under the huge cauldron, and there were many fire origin stones. At that moment, scorching flames were shooting out from the fire origin stones. Beside the huge cauldron, there was a young man about 15 or 16 years old. He was tied up and lying on the ground. Sigh, a single mistake brings everlasting sorrow. The young man's youthful face revealed a look that did not match his age. Why am I so despicable? To think that I, the patriarch of hell, was once a tribulation transcendence powerhouse. Now, I'm going to be thrown into the cauldron by that green bull and refined into a pill. The young man muttered as he struggled. As he struggled, the golden rope on his body would shrink violently. Who else could it be but the patriarch of hell? After hearing that a mutant fruit had appeared on Mount Tai, he rushed over. In the end, he was pleasantly surprised to find that the mutant fruit was a purple embryo fruit, which would be of great help to his cultivation. The patriarch was very arrogant. He did not take the people from the 5 consortiums seriously at all. Thinking that there was still some time before the purple embryo fruit ripened, he wandered around the peak of Mount Tai. In the end, he finally discovered the magic of the Jade Emperor Temple. He could not hold back his curiosity, so he used all his might to tear open the formation and enter the Jade Emperor Temple. Before he could see clearly, he was kicked from behind. The force of the kick was so great that he was knocked unconscious. It was so fast that he, a perfected master of the Golden Core stage, could not react in time. When he woke up, he realized that he was tied up. The rope that tied him up was a magic treasure similar to the immortal binding rope. Then a cow suddenly popped out, rubbing and pinching him. As it did so, it cackled. What a pure body of spiritual energy. It just so happens that the supreme treasure pill that I'm going to concoct is still lacking a main ingredient. You'll be the one. During that period, the patriarch put on all sorts of pretense. First, he pretended to be an expert and threatened the other party to let him go. Then, he admitted defeat and called the other party daddy. However, the other party did not buy it. Sigh, Japanese girls goodbye. The old ancestor sighed faintly. Before he died, The people he was most reluctant to part with were actually the little sisters he had once enjoyed with. Ha ha, my little darling, I finally gathered all of them. At this moment, an extremely excited laughter came from the empty stone chamber. Then, a green bull swung its bullwhip and walked over in an extremely flashy manner. There was a medicinal cauldron hanging on each of its long horns, and the cauldrons were filled with a strong medicinal fragrance. Boom! The two cauldrons fell heavily to the ground. "Who's that, little sweetheart?" The green ox glanced at the patriarch of hell on the ground and grinned. "See what I've prepared for you, little darling." When the patriarch heard this, he felt a chill down his spine. As the cow spoke, it reached out with its hoof and took out an item from a cauldron. Do you know what this is? This is a polygonum multiflorum that's over 2,000 years old. It contains endless essence energy. Mortals can get rid of all diseases and live a long life just by smelling it. This is the lotus seed produced by the purple jade spirit lotus. Just one seed can increase a cultivator's cultivation by 60 years. It picked up another item and said, "This is the phoenix blood sacred fruit." It said that it grows from phoenix blood. My former master spent a lot of effort to obtain it. Unfortunately, it's mine now. This is the seven-cloud lotus. This is the Bodhi tree's heart. As it showed off its treasures, the patriarch of hell's eyes turned red, and he did not hide his jealousy at all. Damn it, I didn't expect this old cow to be so rich. Any one of them is something that can only be encountered by luck in the cultivation world. Any one of them is enough for my cultivation base to soar. Damn it, where did this weirdo come from? Could it be the mount of a Taoist saint? Facing the patriarch's glowing red eyes, the green ox rubbed its hands and chuckled. Don't be jealous. It's fine. I'll refine you together with these supreme herbs later. Do you know who I am? The patriarch cursed without hesitation. The three pure ones are my younger brothers. Hongjun and I have sworn brotherhood. How dare you touch me? Clang, the ox's hoof kicked over heavily. The patriarch saw stars. You son of a b asterisk tch. Clang, 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 another kick of hooves came flying over. The green ox said in all seriousness, "You're wrong. I'm not a son of a b asterisk tch. To be precise, I'm a bull." The patriarch of hell was speechless. After that, the green ox ignored him and stood guard beside the huge pill cauldron. It breathed out strong wind and flames from its nose, as if it wanted to heat up the pill cauldron as soon as possible. When the patriarch of hell saw that, he really panicked. He rolled his eyes and said, Old cow, I'm about to die. Can you fulfill a small wish of mine?" Only then did the green ox turn to look at him. "I have a pack of cigarettes in my pocket. I've been trapped by you for almost a month, and I'm addicted to smoking. Can you let me take a few puffs?" "What's a cigarette?" The green ox immediately came over curiously. "You'll know when you take it out. It's in the left pocket of my clothes." "Yes, that's the bag." After the green ox took out a pack of cigarettes according to the instructions, its eyes widened. "Marlboro? This thing is called Marlboro? Don't waste time. Hurry up and give me one. The rest are all yours," the old ancestor urged. The green ox thought about it and felt that it was not losing out. It simply took out a cigarette and placed it in the patriarch's mouth before lighting one for itself. Shoo! The two of them took a puff at the same time. The patriarch said with a look of enjoyment, "How do you feel?" The green ox took a puff, and the cigarette was instantly reduced to ashes. Without saying a word, it took out 2 more cigarettes and took another puff. How satisfying! It closed its eyes in enjoyment with an intoxicated expression. This thing is really an immortal medicine. That's right. The patriarch rolled his eyes a few times. "I'm not afraid to tell you that this thing is incomparably precious outside. It's not inferior to supreme great medicine. Just the great medicine that you took out to show off to me just now can barely be exchanged for a bag." "Really?" The green ox was in disbelief. The patriarch of hell felt guilty and hurriedly said, "In fact, I forgot to tell you something just now. Before you suck this thing, you need to add an incantation. If you add this incantation, the effect will be 10 times better than not chanting the incantation. Sucking one is equivalent to sucking 10. Clang, clang, clang. The ox's hooves kicked again, causing the patriarch to see stars and his face to swell. Only then did the green ox move its hooves away. Tell me. Chapter 966. The patriarch gritted his teeth in hatred. He could only suppress his grievance and say with an extremely sincere smile, "The incantation for this item only has 3 words, and that's F*CK your mother." F*CK your mother? The green ox was stunned at first. Then, he looked at the patriarch suspiciously. "You're not lying to me? Is the incantation really that short?" As soon as he spoke, the patriarch realized that he seemed to be at a disadvantage. He hurriedly changed his words. "Actually, I lied to you because this incantation is a technique that is not passed down by my sect." Clang, clang, clang. A few more hooves were kicked over. The patriarch sucked the blood from his nose and said tearlessly, "The real incantation is still 3 words, and that's F*CK, my mother. I've told you everything now. I didn't hide anything. You've done well." Only then did the green ox nod in satisfaction. He took out another cigarette and lit it up. He took a deep puff and muttered, F*CK, my mother. F*CK, my mother. F*CK, my mother. He did not know if it was an illusion, but the more he muttered, the smoother he felt. He immediately said excitedly, "You don't say, after this incantation, the effect is indeed greatly increased." Looking at his silly look, the patriarch of hell almost laughed out loud. He was secretly pleased with himself. "You're as cunning as a ghost. In the end, you still have to drink the water that I wash my feet with." Thinking to this point, he said mischievously again, "Brother Ox, I suddenly remembered that there are actually 2 more incantations. The effect is even better than the one you just chanted." He held back his laughter and said, "Listen carefully. The second incantation is Yalai Die, and the third is Iku Iku." The green ox took out another cigarette and took a deep puff. He stomped the ground with his hooves. Yalai Die, Iku Iku. After a few times, the cauldron had completely heated up. The green ox lifted the patriarch up without saying a word. "All right, I've just sent you into the cauldron. Don't." The patriarch of hell immediately panicked. "At least let me go on account of the rare item that I contributed to the myriad treasures path and taught you the incantation of our sect." Hee hee. The green ox chuckled. "Do you really think I'm stupid? If I'm not wrong, there's something wrong with your incantations just now." Patriarch Yellow Spring was shocked. How did this stupid cow know that I'm pranking it? Could it be that it knows the meaning of those 3 sentences? The next moment, the green ox thought that it was extremely smart and said, "If I'm not wrong, the 3 incantations should be chanted together and not separately." Patriarch Yellow Spring was speechless. "All right, your time is up." The green ox lifted him up and directly opened the lid of the pill cauldron. Without saying a word, it threw him in and closed the lid. It was said that after Patriarch Yellow Spring was stuffed into the cauldron, he fell into a pool of medicinal liquid. At that moment, the medicinal liquid was boiling and countless bubbles were bubbling. With the patriarch's body, although this temperature was not enough to completely boil him, the patriarch knew that the green ox would definitely raise the temperature of the flames outside. At that time, even he wouldn't be able to withstand it. Damn it! The patriarch could not move at all and allowed the medicinal liquid to cover him. He felt aggrieved. The patriarch of Yellow Spring, dominated the cultivation world in my previous life. I didn't expect to die like this. The temperature of the medicinal liquid was getting higher and higher. What a dense medicinal liquid! The patriarch could not help but swallow a mouthful. Immediately, he felt extremely warm. He gritted his teeth and said, "Damn it. Fortunately, fella, you taught me the spirit-devouring technique before she left. I'd like to see if you can refine me faster, or if I can refine this medicinal liquid faster." He immediately activated the spirit-devouring technique that Yi-Chun had taught him as he thought to this point. He swallowed the medicinal liquid in the pill cauldron crazily and refined it crazily. Soon, he drank half of the medicinal liquid in the jar. Gulp, gulp, the sound of water being sucked could be heard from the pill cauldron. "What's that sound?" The green ox, who was guarding outside, moved its ears and stuck its face close to the pill cauldron. It wanted to open the lid to take a look, but it was worried that the medicinal fragrance would cause the pill refinement to fail. I heard from Master that when refining supreme, treasured pills, there will be a phenomenon like the sea boiling. Thinking to this point, the green ox was instantly excited. This means that I made the right choice. At the next moment, it threw the supreme medicines that it had painstakingly collected into the spiritual medicine slot one by one. Immediately after, it opened its mouth and spat out samadhi true fire, covering the entire pill cauldron. Is this that stupid ox's 2,000-year-old knotweed? The patriarch in the pill cauldron looked at the golden object that fell down, and his eyes turned red. Without saying a word, he bit it with his mouth, chewed it quickly, and swallowed it. This is that stupid ox's feng shui holy fruit. As the supreme medicines were thrown in, the green ox outside suddenly sensed that something was amiss. Why isn't that patriarch moving? At this moment, a series of screams came from the pill cauldron. Ah, it's so hot. It's burning me. I'm going to die. Only then did the green ox calm down and continue to throw supreme medicines. At the thought that it was about to refine a supreme treasure pill, it could not help but take out a cigarette and smoke. It couldn't help but take out a cigarette and start smoking. F***CK, my Mayan butterfly. As the patriarch in the pill cauldron swallowed more and more supreme medicines, his body emitted rays of golden light. If one took a closer look, they would discover that there was a golden spot of light in his body that was gradually condensing and finally turning into a golden pearl. Corporeal core. I've finally condensed a corporeal core. The patriarch of hell was so excited that he wanted to say something. The golden core stage was divided into void core and corporeal core. At the beginning of the golden core stage, one only needed to condense a void core in their body. If one wanted to step into the middle stage of the golden core stage, they had to condense a corporeal core. Based on the patriarch's original plan, he would need at least half a year to step into the middle stage of the golden core stage. However, it was a blessing in disguise now. Stupid ox, just you wait. When I completely condense a corporeal core and officially step into the middle stage of the golden core stage, this broken rope of yours won't be able to trap me anymore. The patriarch of hell held his breath. When that time comes, I'll seal your cultivation base and throw you into the cow pen. I'll find a few rutting cows to ravage you. When the green ox outside saw the faint golden light emitting from the pill cauldron, it became even more excited. Divine radiance. This is divine radiance. The phenomenon has appeared again. It seems like I'm destined to refine a furnace of supreme treasure pills. Once I refine a supreme treasure pill and consume it, I'll definitely achieve the great Tao of a saint. It once again summoned true samadhi fire and enveloped the pill cauldron. It could not wait for time to pass. The patriarch was also frantically refining the medicinal properties. The two of them were competing to see who could refine first. Chapter 9:67. Almost at that moment, outside the Jade Emperor Temple, Yichin fixed his eyes on the wordless stone tablet. The tadpole-like words that suddenly appeared on the wordless stone tablet moved his expression. Pre-Qin language. The stone tablet was written in Pre-Qin language. This was the second time he had seen Pre-Qin language. The first time was when he was studying the forbidden Ancient Desolate Realm tablet in the Ancient Desolate Realm. The Pre-Qin language on the stone tablet in front of him happened to be 4 words. 2 of them were blurry and incomplete, as if they had decayed in the long river of time. Eternal suppression. Yichin secretly frowned. Eternal suppression of what? Eternal suppression of the universe? Eternal suppression of Mount Tai? Eternal suppression of China? For some reason, he had an extremely strong urge at that moment. It was as if an extremely mysterious power was telling him that as long as he could decipher the last 2 words, he might be able to grasp the big secret. However, he could not recognize the last 2 words at all. He read the entire stone tablet again, trying to see the extra words on it so that he could deduce more. However, there were no other words on the stone tablet. Seeing that he was motionless, Yang Tian could not help but walk over and ask, Old Yi, what's wrong? What's on this tablet? Luo Tianya and his sister also stopped to watch. Luo Shuiyao was hugging the little panda in her arms. She even reached out to touch it, but she still looked confused as if she could not see anything. Yichen said, Did you guys see anything? What did you see? Luo Shuiyao said angrily, Isn't it just a lousy stone tablet? Could it be that you can see something from it? Luo Tianya and Yi Wushuang shook their heads. Looks like I'm the only one who can see it. Yichen shook his head lightly. He was a little wary. Why am I the only one who can see it? Is it a coincidence or is it man-made? Suddenly, he could not help but think of the forbidden ancient desolate realm tablet in his storage ring. He really wanted to take it out and compare it with it, trying to find out if there were any similarities between the two stone tablets. However, he could not expose himself in front of everyone. Forget it. He shook his head to himself and leaped over the wordless stone tablet, landing at the entrance to the Jade Emperor Temple. Be careful, there's a formation, Luo Tianya reminded. Then, he condensed a sword chi and slashed over. As the space shook, the sword chi was immediately repelled. Yichun chuckled softly. Subsequently, he performed mysterious hand seals with both of his hands naturally. Great 5 elements forbidden technique break. As the mysterious hand seals shot out, everyone heard a series of cracking sounds, like glass shattering. You can pass. Yichun took a step inside. Everyone followed behind him. Almost at the moment when Yichun broke through the formation, Yichen's eyes widened. In the stone chamber in the Jade Emperor Temple, the expression of the green ox, who was guarding beside the pill cauldron, suddenly changed. Why is someone here again? Damn it! White gas was coming out of the green ox's nose. He snorted and said, Can't you come a little later? This old bull's supreme treasure pill is about to be refined. This won't do. I can't let the intruder know that I'm refining a supreme treasure pill. Otherwise, it would be the same as giving someone else a wedding dress. Thinking to this point, the green ox's eyes flickered nonstop. Then, it abandoned the pill cauldron that was about to be refined and headed straight for the hall. What it did not know was that there was an aura inside the pill cauldron that was becoming more and more powerful. In the main hall of the Jade Emperor Temple, Yichun and the rest stepped in. The first thing they saw was a tall bronze statue. It looked like a god sitting on top, looking down at them. On the plaque on the shrine, there were a few large words, Chai Wang Yifeng. The strokes were vigorous and powerful, faintly containing the truths of heaven and earth. I don't see anyone. Luo Shuiyao walked to the front nonchalantly. She suddenly looked around before turning her head to Yang Tian and said, Are you sure that the Patriarch of Hell is suppressed here? I'm sure. Yang Tian hurriedly swore. I came in once before, but I was kicked out before I could see clearly. As soon as he said that, Yichun, who had been silent all this while, suddenly pulled Luo Shuiyao over and said at the same time, Be careful. In that instant, an afterimage flashed past the place where Luo Shuiyao had been and then disappeared without a trace. What was that? Yang Tian's expression changed slightly, and then he said subconsciously, Damn it, I remember now. It was this thing that kicked me just now. Yichen said with a strange expression, It looks like a cow hoof. What did you say? Ox hooves? Yang Tian's eyes widened. Old Yi, are you sure you're not mistaken? In other words, it was a hoof that kicked me out? As he spoke, he rubbed his buttocks inelegantly. Damn, that kick was really fierce. How could a cow's hoof be so strong? Be careful. Yichun suddenly looked at him. Yang Tian was stunned and could not react for a moment. Then he felt a sharp pain on his buttocks, and he was sent flying. Almost at that moment, Yichun held the true martial thousand lightning sword in his hand and slashed. A cow's cry resounded in the air. In the next moment, a cow hoof landed on the ground. Luo Shuiyao rushed over and picked it up. She was shocked. Yichun, you guessed it right. It's really an ox hoof. Yang Tian, who came in again, was dumbfounded when he saw the item in her hand. In other words, it was a cow that ambushed us just now. Damn it. Damn cow. When we catch you, we'll pull out your tendons, peel off your skin, stew your bones, and put vermicelli in for hot pot. Although he said that, he still looked around nervously, especially behind him, afraid that he would be kicked out again. In the stone room, the green ox limped back and spoke with a trembling voice. A saint has actually descended. If I hadn't run fast, I would have been killed by the saint's sword. Where did the saint come from? No, I can't stay here anymore. I have to leave quickly. I have to find a place to hide and continue refining my supreme treasure pills. I'll come back for revenge after I become a saint. As it spoke, it walked to the cauldron and tried to carry it away. And the guy who said he wanted to pull out my tendons, peel off my skin, stew my bones, and eat hot pot with vermicelli. I'll skin you first when I get back. When its hoof landed on the cauldron, the entire cauldron shook violently, as if there was an earthquake. At the same time, an extremely powerful aura emanated from the cauldron. It was the aura of a quasi-saint. The green ox was dumbfounded. What's going on? Boom! Following an earth-shattering tremor, the lid of the cauldron was lifted high, and a figure shot out from the cauldron. Ha! Stupid cow, I've broken through. Now it's my turn to ravage you. The Patriarch of Hell's laughter followed. P.S. I've been writing the 8th chapter since morning. I'm so tired. I realized that I've overestimated myself. I can't write anymore. I still lack 2 chapters. I'll make up for it in tomorrow's update. In other words, there will be 6 chapters tomorrow. Chapter 968. Ha ha ha. Chunyo, I've broken through. Now, it's my turn to trample on you. As the cauldron emitted a dazzling golden light, purple gas rose, and a figure shot out of the cauldron. Then, a handsome young man about 15 or 16 years old appeared. The young man's ferocity was unparalleled. Not only was he fine, but the aura on his body was even more terrifying than before. Who else could it be but the Patriarch of Hell? The golden rope that was originally tied to him had long been broken. The green ox's eyes widened as if it had seen a ghost. Why aren't you dead? It clearly remembered that the Patriarch of Hell had been refined a long time ago. Why was he not dead, but had broken out of the cauldron instead? Ha ha ha! The Patriarch of Hell was extremely pleased with himself. Stupid ox, you wanted to refine me into a supreme treasure pill. However, you never expected that you would help me break through in one go. The green ox was stunned at first. Then, it hurriedly opened the lid of the cauldron and looked inside with its eyes wide open. In the end, it realized that it was empty. Not only were the dozens of supreme medicines that it had thrown in completely gone, even a medicinal liquid that it had painstakingly brewed for hundreds of years was gone. Not even the dregs were left. My supreme medicine. The green ox sat on the ground and howled in pain. That's what I've been storing for over 1,000 years. It's gone just like that. Liar, you liar. As it howled, it wiped its snot with its hooves. No wonder Master once told me that the outside world is too terrifying. Previously, it had boasted that it was extremely smart. Ever since the Patriarch stepped into the Jade Emperor Temple, it had secretly used its hooves to trick him. It was even quite proud of itself. However, it did not expect that it would not be able to defeat the Patriarch in the end. The Patriarch of Hell was caught off guard by its reaction. Then, he rubbed his hands and sneered, I haven't even ravaged you yet, and you're already crying. Just you wait, you'll be crying. As soon as he finished speaking, the Patriarch's figure flashed, and like a meteor streaking across the pitch-black night sky, he erupted with terrifying pressure. Then, he violently suppressed the green ox. Not good. The azure ox was instantly jolted awake, and it was about to flee in fear. However, it was too late. The Patriarch of Hell arrived in an instant, and he smashed his fist heavily onto its horns. Moo! With a mournful cry, a purple horn that looked like a machete fell to the ground. Hey, old ancestor Yellow Spring, it's a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. The green ox, who had lost a horn, revealed a smile that was uglier than crying. Misunderstanding, right? The Patriarch of Yellow Spring rubbed his hands and smiled. Without saying a word, he punched again and directly broke the other horn of the Patriarch of Yellow Spring, putting the Patriarch in the furnace to refine pills. Do you really think I'm the Monkey King? It's a pity you're not old Lord Taishang. Moo, 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 moo. Rumble, thunderous explosions resounded throughout the entire stone chamber, followed by endless rumbling sounds. From time to time, it would be accompanied by incomparably mournful cries of cows. Almost at that moment, Yi Chun and the rest, who were in the main hall, heard the commotion. They could not help but look in the direction of the stone chamber. What's that sound? Yang Tian looked like he was facing a great enemy. Luo Xiao's expression changed slightly, and then she said in an extremely strange manner, "It sounds like a cow's moo, and it sounds like a scream. The cow that ambushed us earlier?" Yang Tian immediately became nervous. A scream? Could this damn cow be luring us over on purpose? No. Yi Chun spread his divine consciousness and had a strange expression on his face after understanding the situation in the stone chamber. Then, he led everyone toward the stone chamber. The closer they got, the louder the noises and screams inside. When everyone approached the stone chamber, they were stunned by the scene before them. There was a green ox lying on the ground. It was about the height of 3 people. The green ox had a muscular body, and it was extremely majestic. Its fur was glossy and shiny, as if it had been polished by a comedian. Yang Tian took a look and swallowed his saliva. It turned out that it was this ox that ambushed him earlier. However, he did not dare to have any thoughts of revenge because he was sure that he was no match for this ox. However, the green ox was in an extremely miserable state at that moment. Not only was its horns broken by the patriarch of hell, but its face was also bruised. Blood was flowing out of its nose, and its front teeth were broken. The patriarch of hell noticed Yi Chen too. He could not help but be surprised. "Fellow Yi, when did you come back?" "I just came back." Yi Chen smiled lightly. Subsequently, he sensed the change in his aura and could not help but say, "Congratulations on stepping in an intermediate stage golden core." The patriarch of hell's face was filled with pride. To him, Yi Chen's cultivation base was only at beginner stage golden core before he went to Shang Santian. Now that he had stepped in an intermediate stage golden core, he had complete confidence to show off to Yi Chun. However, just when he was about to speak, his expression changed drastically. He looked at Yi Chun in disbelief. "Why you?" He was shocked to discover Yi Chun had stepped into nascent soul. "That's right." Yi Chun nodded lightly. Subsequently, he looked at the green ox on the ground and said with a forced smile, "This is..." With his eyes, he could naturally tell at a glance that the green ox before him had the cultivation base of a quasi-saint. While the two of them were talking, the green ox on the ground noticed Yi Chun as well. It even wanted to die now. The green ox shrunk its body immediately and moved to a corner quietly, as if it did not dare to let Yi Chun recognize it. It had already recognized that Yi Chun was the saint who had severed one of its hooves with a swing of his sword earlier. What terrified it the most was that the patriarch of hell knew Yi Chun. The patriarch of hell told him what happened immediately. Yi Chun did not know whether to laugh or cry after hearing that. "What do you plan to do with it?" The moment that was said, the green ox immediately became nervous. "Of course, I'll kill it on the spot." The patriarch of hell chuckled, causing it to almost faint on the spot. Before it could speak, Yang Tian hurriedly took a step forward and grinned. "Patriarch, can you give me its remaining 3 hooves after killing it?" As he spoke, he took out the hoof that he had picked up earlier. As he touched it, he said, "Look, what a good quality hoof this is. It's all tendon meat without any fat at all. It's perfect for stewing hoof hot pot. Also, look at its bullwhip. It can be said to be extremely talented. Coincidentally, a rich merchant friend of mine can't do that, so he asked me to help him find a good aphrodisiac." Yang Tian's eyes shone with a green light as he circled the green ox and looked at it again and again, and its hide could be made into many belts. As for the offal, the more the green ox listened, the more shocked it became. In the end, it fainted. Chapter 969. "Stupid cow, are you pretending to be dead?" The patriarch of hell smiled sinisterly. "Do you believe that I'll stew an entire cow while the cauldron is heating up?" As soon as he finished speaking, the green ox, who had fainted, jumped up like a carp and stood up on its hind legs like a human. Plop! Under everyone's gaze, It knelt heavily in front of the patriarch like a human and said with tears in its eyes, "Father, I'm actually your long-lost son." Everyone was speechless. Yang Tian was so shocked that he could not close his mouth. Damn it, this damn cow is really shameless. The green ox walked over on its knees and hugged the patriarch's thigh tightly. It wiped its snot and tears on him. As the saying goes, even a vicious tiger doesn't eat its cubs. Are you really willing to eat me? The patriarch took the bag of Marlboro that still had a few sticks left, then took one out and put it in his mouth. Boom! The green ox opened its mouth and spat out a line of fire. It personally lit the cigarette for the patriarch before nodding and bowing as it massaged the patriarch's back and legs. Everyone's worldview was destroyed by it. At least you know what's good for you. After a cigarette, the patriarch nodded in satisfaction. By the way, what's your name again? The green ox seemed to be in a dilemma. When it saw the patriarch's expression turn grim, it rubbed its hands and said shyly, "Master, my name is Nyonyo." Luo Shueyao was the first to burst out laughing. Ha! Yang Tian did not hide his laughter at all. He laughed so hard that he leaned back and forth. "Nyonyo, oh my God, I'm laughing so hard that my eyes hurt." Yichen could not help but laugh too. The green ox seemed to have guessed everyone's reaction. It gritted its teeth. "Aren't these names given to me by my old master?" As soon as that was said, Yichen could not help but have a gleam flash through his eyes. Who was your previous master? Since the green ox was a quasi-saint, only a saint was qualified to be its master. He's dead. The green ox squeezed out a few drops of tears and said, "Back then, Master went to heaven to fight immortals and never came back." At this moment, Yang Tian rushed in front of it with a bamboo tube in his hand. He swayed it along with the movements of its eyes. "Brat, what are you doing?" The green ox said angrily. "What kind of person was this? Can't you see that I'm reminiscing about my old master? What a disappointment." Yang Tian said seriously, "I heard that ordinary people can see ghosts after applying cow tears, so I want to take some. Don't waste it." The green ox was speechless. Fighting immortals in the sky. Even Patriarch Yellow Spring was shocked. He pulled the man over and said, "Are you saying that there are immortals on Earth?" "Maybe, probably." The green ox said with some uncertainty. Anyway, Old Master's friends called those immortals exalted immortals, so they should be immortals. As it narrated, Yi Chun and the Patriarch of Hell roughly understood what happened. A group of people from foreign lands had once descended on Earth. These people were extremely powerful and tried to force the cultivators on Earth to submit. However, there was no lack of powerful cultivators on Earth. Among them was the Green Ox's master. He formed the Immortal Extermination Alliance and killed his way into the sky alone. Since then, the Green Ox's master had never returned. Not long after, the group of people who tried to attack Earth disappeared one after another. Yi Chun and the Patriarch of Hell looked at each other. They guessed that the exalted immortals that the Green Ox mentioned must be powerhouses from foreign lands. Those who could call themselves exalted immortals must be cultivators. In other words, cultivators from foreign lands had descended on Earth before. It was no wonder that many saints chose to leave this world during the pre-Qin period. After Old Master left and never returned, I was worried that Old Master's enemies would find me, so I stayed in the temple and slept. The green ox sighed faintly. I slept for more than 100 years. Every time I woke up from hunger, I would go out to look for food. When I was full, I would come back to sleep. Does that mean that your cultivation base was also obtained by sleeping? Luo Shueyao said with a strange expression. That's right. I became a quasi-saint by sleeping. The green ox nodded repeatedly. Master is right. The outside world is too dangerous. Every time I wake up and go out, I'll see the messy scene of a great battle. My supreme medicines are all dug out from corpses. Yichen secretly nodded. The green ox's words verified his guesses. After the pre-Qin period, the saints of the 9 families left this world. However, there were still many descendants who were unwilling to leave their homeland. Without the suppression of the 9 saints, these people naturally broke out into wars to fight for resources. As a result, there were fewer and fewer saints. It was not until the Great Calamity 500 years ago that they completely disappeared. As for the green ox, it avoided all these dangers because it slept, becoming a quasi-saint who had slept from ancient times until now. It became a quasi-saint by sleeping. The corners of Luo Tianya's lips twitched a few times when he heard the green ox's pretentious words. He had the urge to kill. Your old master is probably dead a long time ago. The patriarch of hell waved his hand in annoyance. I think you're quite talented. Coincidentally, I need a lackey to serve tea by my side. You can follow us from now on. Everyone thought it would hesitate. Who would have thought that it would walk to Yi Chen's side obediently? It nodded and bowed. Greetings, master. It was a smart person. It knew that Yi Chen had the highest cultivation base among all of them, and everyone treated him as their leader. Therefore, it addressed Yi Chen as old master without thinking. Subsequently, it turned around to look at the patriarch of hell and said with a smile, Greetings, second master. When he saw that, Yang Tian walked over and patted its shoulder. He grinned happily. From now on, I'm your third master. The smile on the green ox's face suddenly disappeared. It looked at him in disdain. Little brat, get lost and play in the mud. Yang Tian was speechless. At that moment, Meng Meng, who was in Yi Chen's embrace, could not hold it in anymore. She kept pulling her little hands. Daddy, I want to ride you. The green ox immediately reattached its broken horns and hooves. Then, it turned into an ordinary green ox with a shake of its body. Yi Chen then placed her on the green ox's back. He was not afraid that the green ox would have any ulterior motives. Even if it did, he could save her first. This girl's spiritual energy is actually so terrifying. On the other hand, the green ox's mind raced. She's simply a humanoid supreme treasure pill. If I eat her, I might be able to step into the saint's stage. Just as it was immersed in its thoughts, it saw Yang Tian staring at it with widened eyes. The green ox said angrily, Brat, what are you looking at? I want to see when you're going to attack my niece. This way, I'll have another chance to eat an entire ox feast. Yang Tian gulped as he spoke. Ox penis, ox tendon, ox tripe. TSK, TSK. Just thinking about it is unbearable. The green ox shuddered. It had completely given up on that thought. Chapter 970. October 8, 2018. Mad Southern Yi, who had disappeared for almost a year, had returned. He had killed the elites of the 5 consortiums at the peak of Mount Tai and even killed the young master of the Black Mountain Ridge with a single palm strike. He had used bloody means to announce his return. When this news spread from the peak of Mount Tai, it was like endless thunder sweeping through the entire country and even the world with an incomparably violent might. What? Mad Southern Yi isn't dead? Countless people's first reaction was disbelief. Wasn't it rumored that he killed his way into the legendary Holy Land and eventually died? That's right, he's back. An insider sucked in a breath of cold air and said in a trembling voice, Moreover, he seems to have become even stronger. Killing level. 9 mutants is like killing chickens. Once these words were said, another storm was stirred up. What was a level 9 mutant? Since ancient times, 9 was respected. A level 9 mutant was the strongest existence among mutants. Their combat strength was comparable to the supreme giants of the Kunlun ruins. If such combat strength was placed on Earth before the spiritual energy recovery, it would be enough to sweep through the entire world and become the number 1 person. However, Mad Southern Yi actually killed level 9 mutants like killing chickens? I really can't believe it. The upper echelons of many consortiums and secret forces were sighing. Clearly, they could not accept this fact. Before this, not long after the spiritual energy recovery, the world's power system had experienced a freakish increase. Countless people thought that Mad Southern Yi was nothing special. However, reality had given them a tight slap. The facts had proven it. Mad Southern Yi was still the same Mad Southern Yi. Many people who were originally overjoyed when they heard about Yi Chen's death immediately looked like they had lost their parents. It's true that good people don't live long, but scourges live for thousands of years. However, most people in China were excited for Yi Chen's return. On behalf of the Chinese cultivation world, we welcome the return of the Chinese #1, Mad Southern Yi, and continue his legend. In just 15 minutes, all the Martial Dao forums in China were in an uproar. Red posts were pinned at the top. To the Chinese cultivation world, Mad Southern Yi was the legend of Mad Southern Yi. Mad Southern Yi was a legend in their hearts. However, when everyone spread the news that Mad Southern Yi was dead, no one could understand the despair in their hearts. After that, the spiritual energy recovery and the beast horde outbreak. Countless people in the cultivation world died in order to fight against the beast horde. It could be said that the Huan nation's cultivation world was filled with an aura of death. Now that Yi Chen had returned, it was equivalent to them seeing hope. They firmly believed that Yi Chen would be able to continue his undefeated legend. Within 2 hours of the news being spread, countless people who were fighting the beast horde at the front line realized that the Demon Kings gave the order to retreat after hearing Mad Southern Yi's name. All of a sudden, out of the 4 cardinal directions, there were 3 where the beast hordes had retreated, no longer fighting against the humans. Just the 3 words, Mad Southern Yi. It was enough to cause millions of strange beasts to retreat. Only the beast tide in the east did not retreat. Just as everyone was puzzled, a piece of news came from the Black Mountain Ridge in the eastern mountains. Mad Southern Yi killed the young master of our Black Mountain Ridge. You must give us an explanation. Otherwise, we won't let this go. As the news spread, countless people were shocked. Clearly, they did not expect Black Mountain Ridge to be the first to oppose Yi Chen. Black Mountain Ridge has spoken. Mad Southern Yi is in a difficult position now. Don't forget that there are hundreds of thousands of beasts in the eastern mountains. No matter how powerful Mad Southern Yi is, it's impossible for him to fight against hundreds of thousands of beasts, right? That's right. Moreover, I heard that the master of Black Mountain Ridge is the old demon of Black Mountain. He's an almighty who has existed since ancient times. Many people began to gloat and discuss. At that moment, the 5 consortiums that had been silent finally spoke up. The upper echelons of Fushi Taiji were the first to speak. Mad Southern Yi killed more than 10 people from Fushi Taiji. He must be severely punished. The people of Primordial Gene can't die in vain. The upper echelons of Primordial Gene also stood up and shouted. All of a sudden, the spiritual energy recovery, Panga Biology, and the other 5 consortiums competed to express their stance. The 5 consortiums officially joined forces to make Yi Chen pay the price. Oh my God, Black Mountain Ridge and the 5 consortiums. Mad Southern Yi has kicked an iron plate this time. Mad Southern Yi seems to only have the Star Group now. Even though the Star Group is the #1 consortium, they don't have the ability to go against the 6 super forces, right? As the 5 consortiums expressed their stance one after another, China was in an uproar again. The voices that supported Yi Chen were instantly heard. Just as Yi Chen was being targeted, the super department established by China's officials, the Dragon King Palace, made a public statement. Mad Southern Yi is no different from a national hero in China. The people he killed deserve to be killed. If anyone dares to attack Mad Southern Yi, the Dragon King Palace will destroy them first. Whoosh! The country was shocked. The Dragon King Palace was the original heavenly palace that had merged with the Dragon Soul after the spiritual energy recovery. It represented China. Now that the Dragon King Palace was supporting Mad Southern Yi in such a high-profile manner, did that not mean that the country was standing behind Mad Southern Yi? Before anyone could react, a demon king from the Western Mountains shouted to everyone, Mad Southern Yi is a friend of the Rock Tribe. Whoever dares to attack him will be an enemy of our Rock King. The Rock Tribe was a tribe that had mutated from the Falcon Tribe after the spiritual energy recovery on Earth. Rumor had it that the king of the Rock Tribe was a golden-winged rock, and his status was equivalent to that of a demon king. In the Northeast Forest, a demon king also stood out to express his stance. Mad Southern Yi is also a friend of the 5 immortals in the Northeast. There are many demon kings in the Northeast. If anyone dares to make an enemy out of him, We will definitely destroy them. After the spiritual energy recovery, a total of 5 demon kings were born in the depths of the northeast forest. The 5 immortals dominated the northeast and commanded the beasts. No one dared to disobey them. Dragon Tiger Mountain is willing to help Mad Southern Yi. An ancient almighty from Dragon Tiger Mountain was filled with killing intent. The ancient almighty from Maoshan suppressed the world and had profound cultivation methods. Maoshan is willing to help Mad Southern Yi. Wudong Mountain is willing, in an instant, from the demon kings to the ancient almighties of the ancient sects in China. More than 10 ancient existences stood out to support Yichun. Yichen's reputation was pushed to the peak again. Countless people were shocked. No one had expected the name Mad Southern Yi to have such a terrifying influence in the country. The demon kings all stood on his side. The Almighty said that they were willing to help him. Faced with such a situation, even the Black Mountain Ridge and the 5 consortiums were terrified. They did not dare to continue being stubborn and could only remain silent. In the end, it was the old dragon from the Yangtze River who spoke. Everyone, do you think China is not chaotic enough? Since Mad Southern Yi dared to kill the people of the Black Mountain Ridge, the Black Mountain Ridge naturally has a reason to seek revenge on him. As soon as it spoke, there was no room for doubt. This old dragon was sleeping in the Yangtze River. No one knew how long it had lived, and no one knew how terrifying its combat strength was. At that moment, Yichun ordered Star Group to spread the word. Order the Black Mountain Ridge and the masters of the 5 consortiums to come to Tiannan within 3 days to accept their punishment. Otherwise, I'll exterminate all of you. None of you will be spared. Chapter 971. Order Black Mountain Ridge and the masters of the 5 consortiums to come to Tiannan to accept their punishment within 3 days. Otherwise, I'll kill all of you. Yichun asked Star Group to spread the word to the outside world. That was Yichun's style of doing things. If people respected him, he would respect them tenfold. It would be fine if they were fine, but if they insisted on jumping out, then don't blame him for being merciless. Moreover, ever since he returned, he had more or less understood the current situation in China. With the recovery of spiritual energy and the awakening of ancient almighties, these old farts relied on the fact that they had lived for many years and took advantage of their seniority to feel superior. It was one thing for the mutated beasts to have demon kings occupying the mountains, but they even organized an army of mutated beasts to attack human cities. They deserved to be killed. The consortiums rose together. Other than the Star Group, the other consortiums were extremely selfish. They only cared about their own development and did not care about righteousness at all when it came to the war between humans and mutated beasts. That was the reason why Yichun issued an ultimatum to Black Mountain Ridge and the 5 consortiums. He planned to make an example out of these few people. The outside world was shocked by his arrogant words. Many people were shocked that the 5 consortiums and Black Mountain Ridge had clearly admitted defeat, but Yichun did not plan to let them go. On the other hand, the internet was cheering for Yichun. Many people had been unhappy with the 5 consortiums and Black Mountain Ridge for a long time. While they were shocked, everyone turned their attention to the 5 consortiums and Black Mountain Ridge, as if they wanted to see how they would react. Mad Southern Yi is too arrogant. In Fushi Taiji, a consortium's upper echelon was furious. More than 10 people from Fushi Taiji died in his hands, and he actually wants us to apologize to him? Who does he think he is? That's right. Another upper echelon's expression was extremely grim. Does this person really think he's the #1 person in China? How dare he threaten us like this? If we don't kill him, we won't be able to quell the anger in our hearts. We'd like to see if he really dares to come and kill us in 3 days. If he dares to come, we'd like to see what the Dragon King Palace has to say. Seconded. This situation seemed to have happened in the other 4 consortiums and the Black Mountain Ridge at the same time. Then, killing intent rose into the sky. Not long after, Fushi Taiji replied to the outside world, "Mad Southern Yi, we respect you a little, but you really think you're someone, don't you? 3 days later, my Fushi Taiji will await your arrival." His words caused an uproar in the outside world. Before they could react, the spiritual energy recovery, primordial gene, Panga biogenetics, Nuad deity maker, and the other four consortiums expressed their stance one after another. 3 days later, we await Mad Southern Ye's arrival. Soon after, an almighty from Black Mountain Ridge shouted online, "As long as Mad Southern Ye dares to come to my Black Mountain Ridge, don't even think about going back." The 6 super forces expressed their stance in unison. They were determined to fight Yichen head-on. This caused the commotion in the outside world to reach its peak. As I expected, the 6 super forces don't care about Mad Southern Ye's threat at all. In fact, that's how it should be. This is getting more and more exciting. The former strongest person in China is going up against 6 superpowers. Just thinking about it makes me excited. For a moment, many people were watching a good show. "Mr. Yi, I'm the founder of the Baji sect." A Baji fist master from the Baji sect said with tears in his eyes, "If you don't mind my weak body, I'm willing to fight our way into the 5 consortiums with you in 3 days." The Form Wolf Fist is willing to advance and retreat with Mr. Yi and open up a new world for the Chinese cultivation world. The founder of the Form Wolf Fist was extremely sincere. In the Hua family fist, however, more people responded to Yichen. Yichen shouted for the last time, "I appreciate your kindness, but there's no need for you guys to interfere with them." The 5 consortiums and Black Mountain Ridge were furious. "Mad Southern Yi, you'll pay for your arrogance." At that moment, the old dragon from the Yangtze River spoke again. "Mad Southern Yi, you're courting death by doing this. Listen to me and apologize to Black Mountain Ridge. You might be able to save your life." At the headquarters of Star Group, Yichen turned around to look at Yi-1 and the girls after seeing the old dragon shout, "What's the origin of this old dragon?" "Brother, at the beginning of the spiritual energy recovery, the Yangtze River suddenly stopped flowing. This old dragon appeared from the Yangtze River." Yi-1 introduced slowly. Its appearance directly captured tens of millions of believers around the Yangtze River. This dragon often preaches or shows its divinity to heal and save people. By the way, this dragon has a very high status among many demon kings. Many demon kings vaguely respect it. Xiaoya added. Yi-chan smirked in disdain. "You're pretending to be righteous and deceiving the world. You're pretending to be a good person. Unfortunately, your bow was crooked from the beginning." Suddenly, he saw the green ox sitting on an extremely wide chair in a daze. Its face was filled with anger. Yi-chan said, "Old ox, do you know where this dragon came from?" The green ox looked at the patriarch resentfully. After coming to the secular world, it finally understood what the patriarch meant when he chanted the incantation last time. He imagined himself sitting on the subway, smoking and muttering to himself, "F***ck me, Miamet." Then, it was treated as a pervert and called the police. It could not wait to fight the patriarch. However, it did not dare to resist Yi-chen's question. It immediately stuck up its butt and said while nodding and bowing, "Master, may I ask if this old dragon has a name?" "It's called the Sky Roaming Dragon King." Yi-1 said, "Sky Roaming Dragon King?" The green ox revealed a pondering expression and said, "Nyo, I remember now. Many years ago, I crossed the Yangtze River with a previous master. At that time, a little dragon wanted to eat us. The previous master took care of that little dragon. The little dragon cried and begged for mercy. The previous master was moved and let it go. However, he ordered it to control the Yangtze River and not to eat humans anymore. Moreover, it had to protect humans for 1,000 years. At this point, it chuckled. That little dragon agreed to all sorts of things. It even acknowledged the previous master as its godfather and me as its godbrother. As soon as it finished speaking, Yi-1 and the rest of the girls' beautiful eyes widened. Yi-1 and the other girls widened their eyes. Clearly, they did not expect it to be the godbrother of a dragon king. Only Yi-chun and the patriarch of hell were no exception. After all, the guy before them had lived through many chaotic times and killed a saint. "Master, don't worry," the green ox said again. "Nyo, I'm its godbrother. Nyo will summon it now. I guarantee that guy will come and kowtow to you within 3 days." "Sure," Yichen nodded. Subsequently, Yu Shasha walked over and whispered into his ear, "Brother Yi, the people from the Dragon King Palace are here." Chapter 972. Star Group's Reception Hall. At that moment, there were 3 people in the hall. 2 of them were the former vice captain of Dragon Soul, Li Ying, and the other was Li Ziwei, whom Yi Chun had saved in Kunlun. An old man in traditional attire was sitting next to the 2 of them. The old man would look outside the door from time to time with a nervous expression. Not long after, footsteps could be heard. The old man stood up immediately. Yi Chun smiled apologetically. "I'm sorry to have kept the 3 of you waiting." "Greetings, Mr. Yi," Ling said excitedly. "I'm so happy to see you." Everyone outside said that you. "Not bad. You've actually reached the Emperor's stage." Yi Chun looked at her in admiration. Clearly, he did not expect the lady to improve so much. "It's all thanks to Old Wang's help." Li Ying smiled sweetly and introduced, "Mr. Yi, let me introduce you. This is Old Wang from China's United Front Department." Yi Chun was filled with respect. "Greetings, Old Wang." "Mr. Yi, you don't have to be so polite with me." Elder Wang waved his hand and said, "I'm only here for 2 things this time. The first is to ask if Mr. Yi has gone to Shang, Santian before." Li Ying could not help but look at Yi Chun as soon as she said that. "That's right." Yi Chun admitted it openly and said, "The so-called Shang Santian's real name is actually Kunlun Ruins. Although they call themselves a world, they're connected to Earth and have an extremely ancient inheritance. Therefore, there are many powerhouses." Old Wang revealed an expression as if he had expected it. He then asked tentatively, "May I know which force in Kunlun Ruins did Mr. Yi join?" To him, Yi Chun's cultivation base had skyrocketed after he returned. He must have obtained great benefits in Kunlun Ruins. The only explanation was that Yi Chun had joined a super sect. However, Yi Chun shook his head lightly. Old Wang was a little disappointed, but he comforted him. "Then who's your master, Mr. Yi? Who's your master?" "There are a total of 10 super forces in Kunlun Ruins. Before the spiritual energy recovery on Earth, there was a half-life, dozens of supreme giants, and hundreds of Emperor stage cultivators," Yi Chun said while smiling lightly. "After the spiritual energy recovery, there's a saint, dozens of quasi-saints, and thousands of supreme giants." Every single word in the latter half of his sentence caused Old Wang, Li Ying, and the others to be utterly shocked. But Yi Chun changed the topic and said with his hands behind his back, "They've been killed. The entire Kunlun Ruins has acknowledged me as their master." As his voice fell, Elder Wang and the other 2 were dumbfounded. What? They thought they had misheard. Yi Chun had already become the master of Kunlun Ruins? That was a terrifying existence that had a sage, dozens of quasi-sages, and thousands of supreme giants. A few seconds later, Old Wang looked at him in disbelief. "Have you become a master of Kunlun Ruins?" "Not bad." Yi Chun smiled lightly with disdain in his eyes. "After I entered the Kunlun Ruins, I trampled the 10 supreme sects consecutively and even suppressed the number 1 person in the Kunlun Ruins. From now on, the Kunlun Ruins will no longer be an enemy of the secular world, but a friend." "Good, good, good." Old Wang said good 3 times in a row, and an extreme flush immediately appeared on his face. As expected of the former number 1 person in China. "With you in China, there's no need to fear 10,000 enemies. There's no need to fear 10,000 enemies." His laughter grew louder and louder. It almost caused the air to tremble. He had never been as excited as he was today. He was a soldier, and his duty was to protect the country and the people of the world. However, ever since the spiritual energy recovery, the United Front Department had been under too much pressure and resistance. The consortiums paid lip service to the country, and the ancient almighties who had awakened ignored the country's laws. They did not listen to orders, and the beast hordes attacked human cities crazily. Too many soldiers had died because of this. Today, he could finally laugh out loud because he, the number 1 person in China, had returned. Moreover, he had the entire Kunlun Ruins behind him. "Mr. Yi, I've finished the first thing. The second thing is to invite you to take over the position of the first palace master of the Dragon King Palace." As he spoke to this point, he ignored his age and bowed to Yi Chun solemnly. At the same time, the higher-ups have unanimously elected you to be the leader of China's 100 generals. You'll be given the title of Mad Southern Heavenly King. More than 30 provinces and 10 military regions in China have contacted each other. They jointly request you to take over the position of the 100 generals and lead 1,000,000 troops. At this point, he was on the verge of tears as he said, Mad Southern Yi, the country is in danger and the people are suffering. Are you willing to take on this responsibility? Bang, bang, bang. At the same time, Li Ying and Li Ziwei knelt heavily on the ground. Mr. Yi, do you still remember the previous Dragon King of Dragon Soul, Niu Shan? Do you still remember Old Qin? They were all loyal people. They dedicated their lives to the country. After they died, they turned into loyal souls to protect the land of China. Mr. Yi, please take over the position of Dragon King Palace Master. Please inherit the position of Mad Southern Heavenly King. Please strengthen our country, Mr. Yi. Two sonorous and powerful voices exploded in the hall. However, their eyes were extremely determined. It was as if they would kneel until they died if Yi Chun did not agree. Yi Chun glanced at Old Wang and the other two. Their silhouettes echoed in his ears. Suddenly, a hint of sorrow surged in his heart. Phew! He took a deep breath of cold air and suppressed the emotions in his heart. After a long while, a smile appeared at the corner of his lips. The banner of the Han family fills the Yin Mountain. If I don't send her back, I'm willing to serve the country with this body. There's no need to enter the Jade Gate Pass. That was a poem by Dai Shuluan, a poet from the Tang dynasty. It also represented his current mood. At that moment, he seemed to have seen Niu Shan and Old Chun. He also seemed to have seen countless loyal soldiers at the front line who used their blood to resist the beast horde army. Perhaps even he did not know. His breadth of mind had gradually risen from the narrow-minded mentality of only caring about his family to righteousness and courage. Great, great! Ha ha ha! Old Wang's laughter shook the sky. Then he threw 2 items at him. Mad Southern Yi, receive the order. Yi Chun caught it and realized that it was 2 gold medals. One was the Dragon King Palace Master's gold medal, and the other was the Mad Southern Heavenly King's gold medal. These 2 gold medals were magic treasures that could be refined with blood. It seemed that after the spiritual energy recovery, the country had also studied this aspect. Thinking to this point, he could not help but ask, Old Wang, our country also controls some cultivation power now. That's right. Old Wang nodded slightly and said, after the spiritual energy recovery, we discovered many secret realms. Then, we found many cultivation inheritances from these secret realms, and even magic treasures and magic tools. He sighed softly. Unfortunately, we're still a little slow. The good things have been taken by the 5 consortiums, or there are powerhouses guarding them. Chapter 973. Yi Chun asked, what about the other countries? They're much luckier than our country. Old Wang sighed faintly. The Egyptian government discovered high-tech weapons left behind by ancient Egypt in the pyramids, such as laser guns. Ordinary people can kill martial venerables with them. Another example is the Vatican. They can pray to God and obtain the blessing of holy power. Ordinary weapons blessed by holy power can not only hit their targets 100%, but they can also kill people from thousands of meters away. Li Ying said with a solemn expression, I heard that many terrifying existences have appeared in Japan, especially yin-yang masters. They worked with the Japanese government to carve talismans on nuclear bombs. Yi Chun was moved when he heard that. Things like nuclear bombs were high-tech weapons that were extremely powerful. If technology was combined with cultivation, such as the blessing of talismans, the power would be extraordinarily terrifying. You guys don't have to worry. Thinking to this point, he took a deep breath in and said slowly, I also control the cultivation inheritance. I can contribute it to strengthen our country. Really? Old Wang was overjoyed. Of course. Yi Chun said while smiling lightly, the great era is here. From now on, it'll definitely be an era of technology and cultivation. For example, Our country's arsenal controls the Tao of talismans. When we manufacture guns, we'll carve talismans on them. Another example is our country's nuclear submarines, combined with the Tao of weapon refinement to refine them into giant steel puppets that can walk on their own. When the time comes, they'll definitely be able to break through everything in the West. Another example is to adjust the clothes and shoes of our country's ordinary soldiers, and they can also fly. As he spoke, every word made Old Wong and the other two excited as if they had been injected with chicken blood. If China could really combine technology and cultivation like Yi Chun said, who would dare to underestimate China by then? Old Wong, close your eyes and calm down, Yi Chun said. Subsequently, he pointed a finger between his brows and passed on countless cultivation knowledge to him. It included alchemy, weapon refinement, formations, sword Tao, martial arts, spells, martial techniques, divine abilities, and so on. Old Wong could not stop trembling after finally digesting the information. Only then did he know how precious the thing that Yi Chun had passed on to him was. If it was leaked, it could start the Third World War. Elder Wong, this matter involves a lot of things. What I mean is that we should keep a low profile as much as possible. We can't spread it to the outside world, and we can't spread it to the public immediately. Yi Chun reminded, you can look for some people with spiritual roots in the military and teach them. You can also discuss it with the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Defense, and so on. For example, we could get the Ministry of Education to secretly establish a cultivation university. The university would be divided into subjects such as alchemy, artifact refinement, array formations, sword Tao, and so on, and secretly train students. Elder Wong laughed out loud. Of course, but this way, the pockets of the finance department will be empty. It's too expensive. What he said was the truth. For example, adding talismans on top of a nuclear bomb could definitely kill a quasi-sage. However, the amount of resources required was terrifying. Then, he said, what I mean is that this cultivation university will be secretly established by your star group. You'll temporarily be the first principal and arrange for people to nurture them. Yi Chun was slightly stunned. Then, he understood his good intentions and was slightly touched. Elder Wong knew how shocking the things he offered were. If China was given some time, there would definitely be earth-shattering changes. That was why he asked Yi Chun to take over. His goal was to let everyone know that it was Yi Chun's contribution. For example, when it came to letting Yi Chun be the first principal, who would not give him face when Yi Chun nurtured his students in the future. Sure, Yi Chun agreed without even thinking about it. In that case, when he left in the future, his descendants would not have a bad life. After that, the two of them chatted about some details before Elder Wong left with his men in satisfaction. Get Yin Nanfei and the rest to see me. Yi Chun immediately ordered Star Group to inform Yin Nanfei and the rest who were fighting the beast horde at the front line in the eastern mountain range. An hour later, Yin Nanfei, Peng Yuanqing, Han Qinhu, Li Yunxiao, Qin Xiaodian, Yang Yuanqing, and the rest returned by helicopter. Yi Chun looked at them quietly. The six of them had stepped into the Emperor realm a long time ago, but even so, their bodies were covered in blood. It was obvious that the front lines were in a dire situation. Among them, Yin Nanfei had lost an arm. It was torn apart by a demon general of the Black Mountain Ridge. Han Qinhu was blinded in one eye. Li Yunxiao's hair was completely white. Yi Chun suddenly bowed to them solemnly. Thank you for your hard work, everyone. In the days when he was not around, it was these people who were not afraid of death who held up the sky for China and protected hundreds of millions of people. Their merit. He deserved Yi Chun's respect. Thump! The six of them knelt on one knee and said in a unified and powerful voice, We greet the mad southern heavenly king. As members of the military, they were notified when Yi Chun took over the position of the mad southern heavenly king. I summon all of you back this time because I want to give you some good fortune. At the same time, I want to build an army for Star Group. Yi Chun said slowly, I call this army the Divine Dragon Army. When you go back, try your best to find some seedlings from the army. There's no need for too many slots. 3,000 people are enough. After the six of them left, Yi Chun said to Yi Wen, I plan to set up a cultivation university. All the descendants of the loyal members of Star Group can sign up to study. Old Yi, does that mean my Yang Hao can sign up too? Yang Tian was excited. Yichen smiled lightly. Then he glanced at Meng Meng, who was playing happily with the panda, and said, "Not only your son, even my Meng Meng wants to go and study." He had thought about it for a long time. His daughter was over 5 years old, and it was time for her to step onto the path of cultivation. Now that he was building university, he could enroll her. This university will be jointly managed by the Star Group and the government. Its name will be Star University for now. Yuan, take some time to choose a good school location for me. Yichen said confidently, "I'll be the first principal. The Patriarch of Hell will be the dean. Wu Shuang and Tianya will be the vice principals. As for the teachers of the various subjects, Yi Wen and the rest will be in charge." F***CK, what about me? Yang Tian pondered carefully and realized that he had gotten nothing. It's not that I want to criticize you, old Yi, but at least let me get an official position. How about a vice principal? Vice principal? The Patriarch of Hell sneered at the side. With that blockhead of yours, it's embarrassing for us to let you guard the gate. Yang Tian was speechless. The Patriarch looked at Yichen again after saying that. Xiao Yi, I feel like I'm about to break through. After returning from Mount Tai, Yichen gave him the purple embryo fruit. After the Patriarch consumed it, his cultivation base kept rising. In the end, he was stuck at perfected golden core. You're going to break through again? Yichen was a little surprised by the Patriarch's cultivation speed. He then said, "Bear with it. I'll bring you to Japan to undergo the tribulation after I'm done cleaning up the country." That's great, that's great. The Patriarch and Yichen looked at each other and could not help but laugh. The last time he went to Japan to undergo the Golden Core tribulation, he had almost destroyed half of Tokyo. This time, he was going to undergo the nascent soul tribulation. Chapter 974. In the next 3 days, the outside world had been arguing about whether Yi Chun dared to go to the 5 consortiums and the Black Mountain Ridge. On the other hand, Yi Chun had been staying in Tianan. He was in charge of nurturing the cultivation seedlings that Yin Nanfei and the rest had found from the army. At the same time, he guided Yi Wen and the rest in their cultivation. He ordered Yi Wen to take out all the cultivation resources in the Star Group and prepare 20 cauldrons to brew the medicine. When the medicine in the 20 cauldrons was almost done, he ordered Yin Nanfei and the rest, as well as Yi Wen, Yang Tian, and the rest to enter the cauldrons to absorb the essence of the medicine. It was not until the afternoon of the 3rd day that the people in the 20 cauldrons finally moved. A powerful aura was the first to break the silence. It was Qin Shaodian who had broken through. He was originally Old Qin's personal bodyguard. After Old Qin died, he became extremely silent. He fought at the front line all day long, trying to forget the past. At this moment, he had accumulated enough strength to step from the Emperor stage to the Quasi-Saint stage in one go. The second to break through was Yang Yuanqing. The former number 1 on the Heaven leaderboard was pushed to number 2 by Yi Chun. However, their relationship was not bad. Yang Yuanqing had also stepped into the Quasi-Saint stage. The third to break through was Yang Tian. Although he had received guidance from the Patriarch of Hell in the beginning, his cultivation base had stopped at Mastery Foundation building. Now that he had finally stepped into Golden Core, his battle prowess was no different from a Quasi-Saint. After that, auras rose into the sky one after another. To Yi Chen's disappointment, the rest stopped at the level of Supreme Giants. Even Yi Wen and the rest of the girls stopped at Foundation building. At the end of the day, their daily cultivation was still insufficient. Their accumulation was limited, and it was difficult for them to take that final step. From then on, there were 3 more Quasi-Saints under Yi Chen's command, including Yi Wushuang, Luo, Tianya, the Patriarch of Hell, and the Green Ox. There were a total of 7. Yi Chen spent a lot of resources to concoct the Foundation building spirit liquid. He cleansed the muscles and marrow of the 3,000 soldiers that he had selected beforehand and guided them to cultivate. One should not underestimate these 3,000 people. In the future, these 3,000 people would often be able to control the overall situation on the battlefield. On the afternoon of the 3rd day, The green ox had returned. However, his face was bruised and swollen. As he walked, he howled, "Sky-roaming Dragon King, you son of a B*TCH, F*CK, your grandmother. Not only did you not acknowledge me as your godbrother, you even beat me up. If I didn't run fast enough, I'm afraid I'd have been captured by you. Just you wait, I'll be irreconcilable with you. When the cow falls to the flatland, it will be bullied by the dragon." As he spoke to this point, he said to Yi Chun in an extremely aggrieved manner, "Master, you have to seek justice for me. That bastard beat me up so badly. Why isn't this bird dragon king giving me face?" Patriarch Yellow Spring was displeased. "Yes, second master." The green ox rolled his eyes and added fuel to the fire. "Not only did he not give you face after I reported your name, that bastard even said that he could fight 10 of you. How infuriating." Patriarch Yellow Spring was moved. "I've decided to." The green ox's ears flapped. She looked at him expectantly. Patriarch Yellow Spring said with a smile, "I've decided to have beef hot pot tonight to relieve my anger." The green ox was speechless. Yichen was not surprised by that outcome at all. The reason why he still asked the green ox to persuade him was because he wanted to give the old dragon a chance. "Get Yin Nan Fei, Luo Tianya, and the rest to see me." A cold gleam flickered in Yi Chen's eyes. 15 minutes later, Yin Nan Fei and the rest, as well as Yi Wushuang, Luo Tianya, and the rest arrived. "The 3-day deadline is up," Yi Chen said slowly. "I've always kept my word. I said that I'll destroy the 5 consortiums and Black Wind Ridge. I'll definitely destroy them." He looked at Luo Tianya and said with a smile, "Brother Luo, are you interested in going out for a walk? Tianya's hands have been itching these few days." Luo Tianya smiled. "All right." Yi Chun enunciated word by word. "Patriarch, Brother Luo, the 2 of you go to Black Mountain Ridge. I want to see old demon Black Mountain's head." Then he turned to look at Yi Wushuang, Yin Nan Fei, and the rest of the 7. "Wushuang, bring the 6 of them to the 5 consortiums. They've lived long enough." This time, the 7 quasi-saints made a move. "All right." Yi Wushuang's eyes were cold. The green ox said eagerly, "Old master, what about me? Take my sword token to the Kunlun ruins." Yi Chun lifted his hand and condensed a golden sword token and tossed it at it. "When you get to the Kunlun ruins, go to the 9th peak and find a person called Elder Qingxian. Tell him that I'm not talented and want to do what I did in the past. I want to have a battle between the saints of the East and West. Ask him to ask the saints of the Kunlun ruins on my behalf. Are they Chinese? Now that China is surrounded by powerful enemies, do they dare to fight their way into the West with Yi Chun? Will destroy their orthodoxy and their inheritance. Restore the magnificent feet of China." Luo Tianya's expression changed slightly when he heard that. Yi Chun was planning to let the Kunlun ruins appear after he was done with his country. Then, he would lead the saints into the West. He could not help but feel a chill in his heart when he thought about the earth-shattering battle between the East and the West hundreds of years ago and the casualties caused. The green ox was instantly extremely excited. "Master, is this called a cloud-piercing arrow? An army of thousands of men and horses will come to meet?" When the outside world saw that the 3rd day was about to pass, there was still no movement from Star Group. The 5 consortiums and Black Mountain Ridge were still calm. Many people sneered. "Looks like Mad Southern's arrogant words from before were just empty words. He doesn't have the guts to fight the 6 super forces alone. I didn't expect the former #1 person in China to be so timid. However, it's no wonder. Anyone would be timid when facing the 6 super forces. Facing such a situation, even the people who supported Yi Chun earlier could not speak up for him anymore. Because the truth was right before their eyes, they could not help but smile bitterly when they thought to this point. Could it be that I was the #1 person in China in the past? Is the treasured saber old? Meanwhile, in Fushi Taiji Consortium, the atmosphere was unusually serious. All the defensive formations and mechanisms had been activated. It could be said that Fushi Taiji was prepared for Yi Chun to come knocking on their door. Everyone was extremely nervous. At that moment, One of the upper echelons looked at the time and finally could not help but say, "Everyone, it's almost dark, but Mad Southern Yi is still not here. Could it be that he's afraid? I think so. If he wanted to come, he would have come a long time ago. Moreover, do you think Mad Southern Yi would really dare to come to Fushi Taiji?" One of the upper echelons sneered, "Fushi Taiji is one of the 6 consortiums. We have a terrifying foundation. What can a mere Mad Southern Yi do to us? Remove the formations and mechanisms." Someone said in disappointment, "I'm a little disappointed that Mad Southern Yi didn't come. I thought that if he dared to come, perhaps Fushi Taiji could." Before he could finish, a cold voice suddenly exploded in the void. "If he really comes, what are you going to do to him?" P.S. Chapter 4, that's it. Please give me monthly votes and recommendation votes. Thank you. Chapter 975. If he really comes, what do you want to do? In Fushi Taiji Consortium, just as the upper echelons were mocking Yi-chun, such a cold voice suddenly exploded in the air. As his voice fell, all the upper echelons present were stunned. Clearly, they did not expect to be slapped in the face so quickly. At the next moment, the air trembled and several powerful auras slowly walked out from the air. The leader was a young man around 16 or 17 years old, dressed in white. Behind him were 7 people. They were Qin Xiaotian, Yang Tian, and the rest. Boom! The experts in Fushi Taiji immediately got into formation, looking like they were guarding against a great enemy. "Who are you?" The expression of the leader of Fushi Taiji changed slightly as he stared at Yi Wushuang and the rest. He had never seen Wushuang before. He was just curious why Yi-chan did not come personally and send a young man instead. Wushuang's expression was cold. "I'm here to kill your people." "Kill us?" The leader of Fushi Taiji smirked coldly. "Just you guys? Why, Mad Southern Yi doesn't dare to come personally, so he sent you guys here to die." The upper echelons beside him also smirked coldly. They were not quasi-saints, so they did not know the cultivation bases of Yi Wushuang and the rest. However, they scoffed when they saw Qin Xiaotian and the rest behind Yi Wushuang. After all, the 5 consortiums had already known about Qin Xiaotian and the rest's information and combat strength. I didn't expect Mad Southern Yi to look down on Fushi Taiji so much. He only sent a few people here. One of the upper echelons sneered, "You guys came at the right time today. Let's see what Mad Southern Yi has to say after we kill you guys." "Kill them." Yi Wushuang closed his eyes slightly. As soon as he finished speaking, Yang Tian and the rest, who could not hold it in any longer, stepped forward together. With a loud bang, their cultivation bases erupted. Almost at that moment, a supreme giant's upper echelon died. Dead silence. The scene was dead silent. The leader of Fushi Taiji's face twitched violently. At the same time, extreme waves surged in his heart. Quasi-saints. A total of 4 quasi-saints. Before this, the 5 consortiums had analyzed Yi Chen's combat ability. They guessed that he was at most a quasi-saint. However, he did not expect the star group to have so many quasi-saints. After all, the 5 consortiums only had 5 demi-saints in total. At that moment, cold sweat broke out on Fushi Taiji's forehead. Yes, cold sweat. If he had known that Yi-chun had such a powerful background, he would not have gone against Yi-chun publicly. Hold on. Thinking of this, he shuddered and subconsciously said, I'm willing to surrender." A sword light slashed down. The helmsman of Fushi Taiji was instantly sliced into 2. "Who dares to barge into my Fushi Taiji?" As an old, furious voice rang out, an old man in a brocade robe flew through the air. This person was the only old ancestor of Fushi Taiji, and he had just entered the quasi-saint level not long ago. He was also Fushi Taiji's greatest reliance. Fushi Taiji was furious. However, the moment he appeared, he sensed the aura of Yi Wushuang and the rest. His expression changed abruptly, and he turned around and left without saying a word. Quasi-saints. A total of 4 quasi-saints. He was so scared that he almost peed his pants. Then, Wushuang's white robe fluttered abruptly. A sword intent that soared into the sky pointed straight at Fushi Taiji's patriarch. Thousands of sword shadows moved along with it. Following, there were screams of agony. The entire Fushi Taiji was bathed in blood. When Yi Wushuang, the patriarch of hell, and the rest split up, the outside world was still discussing if Yichun really did not dare to go to the 6 super forces. It's already night, but the 6 super forces still haven't made a move. It seems like Mad Southern Yi is really just talking. Someone posted on the internet with a mocking expression. Not long after, it attracted a lot of attention and was pushed to the top of the trending list. Damn it, I was looking forward to it for a long time. So he's a coward. Let's see what else he has to say now. That's right. He wasted our time. It turns out that Mad Southern Yi can't do it anymore. In my opinion, this so-called China #1 person in the past is just an undeserved reputation. He's nothing much. The internet was in an uproar over this. Right at this moment, an earth-shattering piece of news exploded on the internet, and it even spread at an extremely fast speed. Breaking news. Oh my God, just half an hour ago, Fushi Taiji, one of the 6 consortiums, was destroyed. The news was like a heavy bomb that caused a terrifying wave. It completely shocked the people who were mocking Yichun earlier. What? Are you serious? Of course it's true. All the upper echelons of Fushi Taiji were killed. The only patriarch was even beheaded and hung at the entrance of Fushi Taiji. All of a sudden, the world was shaken. Countless people shuddered, especially those who mocked Yichun earlier. They quietly logged off their accounts on the internet. That was a super consortium, and it was destroyed just like that. The ones who were the most terrified were the other 4 consortiums and the Black Mountain Ridge. Almost at the instant the news spread, the remaining 5 super forces made full preparations. The formation was fully activated, and the firepower was in place. Initially, they thought that Yichun was just joking. Never did they expect Fushi Taiji to be destroyed without a sound. It was only then that they truly realized that Yichun did not seem like someone who would joke around. However, both parties had already fallen out. It was impossible for them to admit defeat. Meanwhile, everyone was paying attention to the 5 super forces. At around 10:30 that night, several figures with terrifying auras suddenly descended from the sky where the primordial gene headquarters was located in Panzhou. Thunder rumbled, shaking the heavens and earth. It was accompanied by the sound of rocket launchers, mortars, bombers, and other densely packed loud noises. The commotion lasted for about an hour before it finally returned to dead silence. It was as if the entire world had fallen into silence. In the end, someone could not help but step forward to investigate. In the end, they were shocked to discover that the mountain range within a radius of 3,000 meters of the Primordial Gene Consortium seemed to have experienced an earthquake. It was forcefully sunk by someone. Within the Primordial Gene, corpses were everywhere, and blood flowed like rivers. That night, the entire China was completely shaken. Whether it was on the internet or in reality, it was as if a nuclear bomb had been dropped. Oh my God, Mad Southern Yi just destroyed Fushi Taiji, and in the blink of an eye, he destroyed the primordial gene. He's really going to destroy all 6 super forces. This is too brutal. In the blink of an eye, 2 major consortiums were destroyed. How can Mad Southern Yi be so brutal? Who would dare to stand up against him? Good kill, good kill. We've been unhappy with the vampires of the 5 consortiums for a long time. God has eyes. Their doomsday has finally arrived. Some were shocked, some were excited, and some even made a statue of Yichun in the ancestral hall. They worshipped him day and night. Chapter 976. Just when everyone in the outside world thought that Fushi Taiji and Primordial Gene had been destroyed by Yichun, another piece of shocking news appeared on the internet. Exclusive news, exclusive news. Come and watch. A paparazzi who claimed to be from the Cultivation World's Discipline Inspection Committee revealed on the internet. In reality, Mad Southern Yi never left Star Group. He stayed at home the entire day. As soon as the post appeared, it caused an extreme shock and commotion. Countless people clicked on it in disbelief. Mad Southern Yi stayed at home the entire time? Someone cried out, "How is that possible?" If that's really the case, then who destroyed Fushi Taiji and Primordial Gene? Brother Go, is your news accurate? Another person asked doubtfully. Brother Go was the nickname of this person who claimed to be from the Cultivation World's Discipline Inspection Committee. Before this person had always liked to expose scandals about celebrities having affairs, and he had never been wrong. Therefore, even though the entertainment industry hated him to the core, they could not do anything to him. After the spiritual energy recovery, this person changed his profession and revealed strange things in the cultivation world. He was known as the Cultivation World's Discipline Inspection Committee. For example, the last time he revealed that a rich woman was stabbed to death by her mutated poodle, it caused a huge commotion. Brother Go's products are definitely authentic. How can they be fake? Brother Go said with absolute certainty, "In the past 3 days, I've arranged countless hidden sentries outside Star Group and the Yi residence, but I've never seen Mad Southern Yi go out. Then tell me, who destroyed the 2 consortiums, Fushi Taiji and Primordial Gene? Could it be that the government did it?" Someone questioned. Many people agreed with his question. That's right, other than the government. Who else had the power to wipe out the 2 consortiums? Brother Go immediately said, in reality, although the person who destroyed the 2 consortiums wasn't Mad Southern Yi, it was Mad Southern Ye's people. Have you heard of Yi Wushuang and the Patriarch of Hell? Yi Wushuang. Someone seemed to have thought of something. He sounds familiar. Before the spiritual energy recovery, this person seemed to be ranked 11th on the heaven leaderboard. He was only 15 or 16 years old, and he could be said to be a genius that only appears once in 100 years in China. Yes, that's him. Brother Dog smiled mysteriously. I'm afraid you guys still don't know this. After Mad Southern Yi returned, he had 2 existences with combat power comparable to ancient almighties by his side. Then, overnight, Star Group had 3 more super powerhouses out of nowhere. In other words, Star Group has several ancient almighties, and they're the ones who destroyed the 2 consortiums? So it's true that Star Group has several ancient almighties, and they're the ones who destroyed the 2 consortiums. Terrifying. Simply terrifying. Countless people felt their scalp tingle. The various monster kings and forces were shocked. While the world was in, Tai World Go Clan was Yi of Taik. Although they were shocked when Fushi Taiji was destroyed, they felt that even though Yi Chun was the one who destroyed it, he had paid a huge price. As Yi World B, Yang Clan that they the B, the clan of the 4, had Yi had the clan world, B. However, Yi Wushuang and the rest did not give them a chance. After destroying Fushi Taiji, they charged toward Primordial Gene. However, Yi Wushuang and the rest did not give them a chance. After destroying Fushi Taik, they charged toward Primordial Gene. Especially after knowing that Yi Chun did not do anything during the entire process and that it was only his subordinates who caused such a commotion, Panga Biogenetics completely lost its determination to resist. Especially when they found out that Yi Chun did not do anything during the entire process and that it was only his subordinates who caused such a commotion, Panga Biogenetics completely lost the will to resist. The leader of Panga Biogenetics looked at the upper echelons with a grim expression. Everyone, what do you think we should do now? Should we surrender? One of the upper echelons gulped and said with a trembling voice, Surrender? Another upper echelon sneered. Don't forget that Mad Southern Yi has already given us a 3-day deadline. Now that the deadline has passed, this person won't accept it. Then what should we do? Are we going to follow in the footsteps of the 2 consortiums? Damn it, this Mad Southern Yi is so arrogant. Isn't the country going to do something about it? Also, isn't he afraid of angering the public? Everyone was arguing. The leader of Panga Biogenetics seemed to have thought of something and hurriedly said, That's right, look for the country. As long as Panga Biogenetics gives in to the country will save us. Thinking to this point, he immediately contacted the National Cultivation Bureau. However, to his surprise, he could not get through to them. His heart gradually sank. He tried all sorts of ways to contact his friends in the government departments, from the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Transportation, to the Ministry of Social Security. Dozens of calls did not go through. The leader of Pangu Biogenetics' heart sank completely. The others' faces were ashen. Unease, fear, and regret were like seaweed erupting, growing crazily. In the end, the last call from the leader of Panga Biogenetics went through. It was from the Family Planning Commission. Old Yang, help! Help! The leader of Panga Biogenetics spoke very humbly. The person called Old Yang clearly knew what had happened. He said awkwardly, "I'm sorry. I can't help you. Also, you're at the wrong place. This is the Family Planning Commission. How can I help you?" "Old Yang, I can't get through to the United Front Department. Think of a way to help me convey the news." The leader of Panga Biogenetics said in a low voice, "Just say that Panga Biogenetics is willing to hand over everything to the National Treasury. I hope you can give us a way out." Old Yang sighed and said, "I'll make it clear to you. It's useless no matter who you call." "What?" The leader of Panga Biogenetics was stunned. "I'm not afraid to tell you that just 3 days ago, the higher-ups unanimously recommended Mad Southern Yi and conferred him the title of Mad Southern Heavenly King. He's ranked first among the 100 generals. He's in charge of 1,000,000 troops and has the power to kill and seize. More than 30 provinces and the 10 war zones have already supported Mad Southern Yi in carrying out the weed extermination operation. 1,000,000 troops are on standby, waiting for his order." Smack! Before Old Yang could finish speaking, the leader of Panga Biogenetics fell heavily to the ground. His face was ashen. "It's over, it's over. Everything is over. Mad Southern Heavenly King. 1,000,000 troops on standby." At this moment, there was only endless regret in his heart. Rumble. At this moment, the entire Panga Biogenetics headquarters began to shake violently, as if the earth was shaking and the mountains were shaking. Everyone's expressions changed drastically. Under the orders of the Mad Southern Heavenly King, Panga Biogenetics is suspected of stealing from the country. It has let down the country and the people of the world. Kill without mercy. Rumble. The killing intent that filled the sky almost enveloped the entire Panga Biogenetics. It stirred up the wind and clouds, stirred up the lightning in the 9 heavens, and destroyed everything. Chapter 977. The third consortium, Panga Biology, was also destroyed. At 11 p.m. that night, the outside world was already numb. Panga Biology is finished too. How long had it been? In less than 2 hours, 3 consortiums were destroyed one after another. The entire process was as easy as crushing dry weeds. Countless people were shocked and regretful. However, even more people were extremely excited, as expected of the former number 1 person in China. He's still so domineering and ruthless. That's right. The 5 consortiums provoked Mad Southern Yi previously. What happened in the end? 3 consortiums were destroyed in the blink of an eye. It can be said that he didn't move at all. Many people laughed loudly, feeling extremely carefree. Over the past few days, they had been scolded by all sorts of slander until they did not have the ability to retaliate. Now, Yi Chun had given those who mocked him 3 hard slaps on their faces with his actions. He did not even bother to take action personally. He destroyed 3 consortiums consecutively with just his subordinates. Who would dare to look down on him? Now, there are only the 2 consortiums left, the Spiritual Energy Recovery and the Nuwa God Creator, as well as the Heretic Organization, Black Mountain Ridge. I want to know how those **starred from Black Mountain Ridge are feeling right now. Many people were looking forward to it. However, at that moment, a discordant voice was heard. "Mad Southern Yi, it's detrimental to your virtue to kill so wantonly. Stop. Treat it as accumulating some good fortune for yourself." It was the old dragon from the Yangtze River who spoke. This old dragon had a high status around the Yangtze River. He was respected as a god by countless believers. At the same time, he had a high prestige among the mutated beasts. Therefore, when he spoke, it caused a huge commotion in the country. Countless people stood up to support him, including the demon kings who had remained silent earlier. The Dragon King is right. Mad Southern Yi is extremely ruthless. If this goes on, he will definitely become a scourge to our country. I suggest that the country suppress him. An old dragon believer supported. Not long after he said that, someone knocked on the door of the room. Open the door and check the water meter." The other party looked through the peephole and realized that there were many people in military uniforms standing outside. He was so scared that he immediately jumped down from the kitchen skylight while wrapped in a bedsheet. With that leap, he landed right in the middle of a huge net. Countless people pounced forward to capture him. The leader of the group waved his hands. "Take him away." After many people stood up to oppose Yi Chun, demon kings spoke up one after another. A wild boar in the eastern mountains that had mutated into a demon king pig said, "Mad Southern Yi, it has nothing to do with me if your people fight to the death." However, Black Mountain Ridge is a member of the Eastern Demon King Alliance. If you dare to touch Black Wind Ridge, you'll be making an enemy of the Eastern Demon King Alliance. Wild boar, what the F***CK do you mean? Are you going to protect the old monster of Black Mountain? The Rock King of the Southern Demon King Alliance stood out again. The Wild Boar King was enraged. "Rock King, you're a member of my mutated beast race. What do you mean by protecting a human over and over again?" Even the other demon monarchs couldn't stand it anymore. "That's right, Pung King. We're all on the same side. There's no need to turn against each other now, right?" T. The Rock King was extremely domineering as he supported Yi Chun. "I've already said that Mad Southern Yi is a friend of the Rock Tribe. Whoever dares to go against him is equivalent to going against the Rock Tribe." After saying that, he pointed his sword at the Wild Boar King. "Wild Boar, if you dare to say another word, I'll go to your Wild Boar Ridge tomorrow and pay you a visit." The Wild Boar King was completely terrified and did not say a word. Although it was also a demon king, it still knew the difference between it and the Rock King. However, there were people who were not afraid of the Rock King. "If Mad Southern Yi dares to take a step into our mutated beast territory, our Ocean Tribe army will definitely attack and occupy your coastal cities." An octopus demon king along the Minuet coast shouted from afar, "We don't care how many casualties are caused." The Lobster Clan isn't convinced either. The Lobster King of the Lobster Clan provoked, "Mad Southern Yi, you only have the ability to be arrogant on land. If you have the ability, come to the sea. I guarantee that you won't be able to return. You bunch of trash." Mad Southern Yi stood up for the first time and personally said, "Even if you want to reincarnate, there's no need to be in such a hurry. I'll stew all of you sooner or later. Line up and come one by one." As soon as these words were spoken, many of the Ocean Tribe demon kings were furious. They secretly discussed to organize a new army to attack the coastal cities of China. At that moment, the old dragon on the Yangtze River spoke again. "Mad Southern Yi, let me give you a piece of advice. If you do too much evil, you'll bring about your own destruction. It's better for you to stop. Otherwise, you might bring about a fatal disaster." "Old thing," Yi Chun sneered, "you don't have to mediate here and pretend to be a good person. If you're not convinced, you're welcome to fight." His words ignited everything again. Countless people cheered for him. Mad Southern Yi is right. If anyone is not convinced, you're welcome to stand up and wait for Mad Southern Yi to wipe you all out. I think some people are courting death again. They're constantly testing Mad Southern Yi's bottom line, someone chuckled. "Mad Southern Yi, the Ocean Tribe is too arrogant. After we destroy the two consortiums and the Black Mountain Ridge, I suggest you go to the sea." However, more people were looking forward to it. The price of pork has risen recently. The fat pig at Wild Boar Ridge should taste pretty good. There's also lobster and octopus. My wife has been craving it for a long time. The Wild Boar King and the Ocean Tribe were so angry that they were fuming. Humans were too arrogant. They were actually thinking about how to eat them. In the early hours of the same night, the recovery of spiritual energy and the destruction of the Nuwa Creator Consortium swept through the entire country like a tidal wave. Countless people could not sleep at night. Even though they had already guessed the outcome, the shock in everyone's hearts could not be erased when they really faced it. The 5 consortiums had all been destroyed, and not a single one was left. There was no more shocking news than this. Those were the 5 consortiums that controlled most of the cultivation resources in the country. However, they were destroyed just like that. As the news spread, the details of the destruction of the 5 consortiums were dug out. Shocking. I heard that the person who led the team to destroy the 5 consortiums was Mad Southern Ye's brother, Yi Shuang. This kid is only 17 or 18 years old, but he possesses an extremely terrifying cultivation base. He's also good at sword Dao. He killed an ancient almighty with a single strike. All of a sudden, Yi Shuang's name shook the entire China. Countless people paid attention to him, and he surpassed Yi Chun in the limelight. Among them, the girls were the craziest. When a video of Yi Shuang destroying Fushi Taiji was released online, everyone was shocked. Is he Yi Shuang? He's so handsome. Oh no, I realized that I've fallen in love with him. Overnight, Yi Shuang gained tens of millions of female fans. Meanwhile, these female fans changed their online names to "My husband is Yi Shuang. I'm Yi Shuang's lover. Yi Shuang loves me every night," and so on. Even the most popular male idols in the country paled in comparison to Yi Shuang. At around 3 a.m. the next day, the Patriarch of Hell and Luo Tinya successfully arrived at the eastern mountain, Black Mountain Ridge. Chapter 978. Black Mountain Ridge. In the eastern mountains, there were a total of 18 ridges. An existence like Black Mountain Ridge was only one of them. However, just Black Mountain Ridge alone had a demon king that was comparable to a quasi-saint. From this, it could be seen that the eastern mountains had the confidence to provoke any existence. They even looked down on the Chinese officials. At that moment, Black Wind Ridge was heavily guarded. A female voice could be heard crying in the cave. "King, Foer has been dead for so long, yet you're still indifferent. Are you worthy of being a father?" The cave was very magnificent. A woman in a jade-green palace dress wiped her tears and cried. Did Foer die for nothing? She was old demon Black Mountain's 35th concubine. At the same time, she was the mother of the young man in black that Yi Chun killed on Mount Tai. "All right, I got it." A middle-aged man with a sinister face and cold eyes waved his hand in annoyance. "What do you know as a wife? Mad Southern Yi is powerful now. He has destroyed 5 consortiums consecutively. Black Mountain Ridge can't compete with him at this time. Otherwise, everyone will be finished." The other party was the master of Black Mountain Ridge, the Bat King, old demon Black Mountain. He controlled hundreds of thousands of mutated beasts in the eastern mountains. "King, if this Mad Southern Yi is really that powerful, why aren't you running away?" The lady in the jade-green palace dress turned pale. "Run." Old demon Black Mountain smirked coldly. "I admit that Mad Southern Ye's subordinates are not bad, but they're not good enough for me to run away." At this point, he was extremely confident. Moreover, Black Mountain Ridge has the Eastern Mountain Demon King Alliance behind it. Even if Mad Southern Yi wants to touch me, he has to think twice. Boom! At that moment, a deafening explosion suddenly came from outside Black Mountain Ridge, accompanied by a series of shrill cries. What happened? Old Demon Black Mountain was shocked. He turned into a black shadow and shot out. His heart skipped a beat. Could it be that Mad Southern Ye's men are really here? "Your Majesty, it's bad. 2 people are attacking my Black Mountain Ridge. They're already here." A huge bat flew over in fear. "Only 2 people." Old Demon Black Mountain heaved a sigh of relief. "I remember that there were 7 or 8 people who destroyed the 5 consortiums. Why are there only 2 now?" Then, he could not help but sneer as killing intent flashed in his eyes. "Bastard, how dare the 2 of you attack my Black Mountain Ridge? You must be tired of living." His voice fell. He immediately transformed into a giant bat and quickly flew down the mountain to investigate the commotion. Rumble. The Patriarch of Hell and Luo Tinya revealed their killing intent as they charged towards the interior of Black Mountain Ridge crazily. Screams followed wherever they passed. At this moment, a purple bat covered the sky and flew over. Then it transformed into a human form and revealed the face of the Witch of the Black Mountain. The Witch of the Black Mountain had no vision, but an electromagnetic wave spread toward the 2 of them. "Who are you? Don't you know that this Black Mountain Ridge is my territory?" "Old bat, you don't recognize me anymore?" Patriarch Yellow Spring stopped and looked at him with a faint smile. "What? It's you." The Witch of the Black Mountain instantly recognized the Patriarch of Hell. At first, he was shocked. Then, He sneered and said, I know you. You're the former #1 person in the star group. Why? You're just a supreme giant. How dare you attack my Black Mountain Ridge? Supreme giant? The patriarch of hell cackled. Old bat, looks like you're really blind. How dare you look down on me? Kill them. A bat of a supreme giant charged at the patriarch of hell without saying a word. However, before it could get close, it was killed by the patriarch with a slap. Quasi-saint. The Witch of the Black Mountain's expression changed. Then he gasped. You've actually stepped out of the quasi-saint stage. He clearly remembered that the patriarch of hell was still a supreme giant previously. How did he suddenly become a quasi-saint? There's a lot you don't know. The patriarch of hell sneered and said to Luo Tianya beside him, Let's do it. Kill this old bat as soon as possible and go back to sleep with your little sisters. Boom! At the next moment, the two of them moved together. 15 minutes later, the Witch of the Black Mountain let out a blood-curdling scream. His wings were forcefully cut off, and he fell from the sky. He rolled on the ground and screamed. His heart was filled with endless fear. Quasi-saints. 2 quasi-saints. He did not expect that apart from the 4 quasi-saints who destroyed the 5 consortiums, 2 more quasi-saints would appear. Both of you, how about we stop here? I'm willing to publicly apologize to Mad Southern Yi and submit to him. The Witch of the Black Mountain had no choice but to admit defeat in an attempt to fight for a chance of survival. You're only regretting now? It's over. The patriarch did not bite at all. The Witch of the Black Mountain's expression changed as he threatened. I'm a member of the Eastern Demon King Alliance. If you dare to kill me, the Eastern Demon King Alliance will not let you off. Demon King Alliance? The patriarch of hell smiled disdainfully. How dare you threaten me when you're about to die? I don't care about your Demon King Alliance. If you dare to attack me, I'll kill you all the same. Boom! Luo Tianya did not say a word. The purple fist force traversed the sky like a bolt of purple lightning descending from the sky. Then, it headed straight for the Witch of the Black Mountain. No! The Witch of the Black Mountain was terrified and indignant. However, he could not resist Luo Tianya's punch at all. His body exploded and turned into a cloud of blood mist. A demon king had officially died. The rest of the members of the Black Mountain Ridge were so scared that their faces turned pale. The auras hidden in the dark retracted, as if they had seen something terrifying. No one dared to stand out and say a word. The Patriarch of Hell then took out his phone and called Yi Chun. Xiao Yezi, I've settled it. However, the Witch of the Black Mountain was killed by Luo Tianya with a single punch. I can't get his head back for you. That night, countless people who had stayed up all night waiting for news finally received what they had been waiting for. The Black Mountain Ridge was destroyed. The Witch of the Black Mountain Ridge was dead. This shocking news completely dispelled everyone's sleepiness. There was only a bone-piercing chill in their hearts. Mad Southern Yi had said that he would destroy the 5 consortiums and the Black Mountain Ridge. Now, he had really done it. In just a few hours, the 6 superpowers that stood tall in the world were completely wiped out. In the United Front Department, Old Wong waved his pen and laughed. His laughter shook the sky. Congratulations to humanity. Congratulations to China. Congratulations to humanity. Congratulations to China. That night, countless soldiers at the front line roared in unison. They hugged each other excitedly, their eyes brimming with tears. No one knew how many human casualties and the sacrifices of the soldiers would be reduced by the destruction of the Black Mountain Ridge. Congratulations to humanity. Congratulations to China. That night, countless people on the internet were in an uproar. It also pushed Yi Chun, Yi Wushuang, and the rest's reputation to the peak. That night, the old dragon in the Yangtze River secretly sent invitations to many demon kings to form the Extermination Alliance. Yi Chun smirked coldly when he found out. Coldness surged in his eyes. Extermination Alliance? Are they trying to join forces to destroy me? Mad Southern Yi? P.S. Chapter 4 has been updated today. Please give me monthly votes and recommendation votes. Thank you. Chapter 979. As Yi Chun destroyed the 5 consortiums and Black Wind Ridge with lightning speed, The outside world was already boiling like a boiling ocean. Countless people in the country were shocked by Yi Chen's power. Even many foreign forces were alarmed. Just when everyone thought that this series of bloody methods would be able to intimidate the demon kings and the beasts in the world. However, an extremely shocking piece of news spread on the internet. It's reported that many demon kings from the north, south, east, west, and center of China have been mobilized. They've secretly gathered at the Yangtze River's Water Dragon Palace. They seem to be discussing some shocking plan. As the news spread, the already boiling atmosphere in the country was once again ignited. What? All the demon kings have been mobilized? An extremely ancient human almighty was shocked when he heard that. What are they doing? Could it be that they're working together to bring chaos to China? Oh my God, is that true? However, there were even more people who found it unbelievable. It's true. An insider revealed, within 2 hours after the Black Mountain Ridge was destroyed, a demon king flew across the sky from the north. It's heading towards the Yangtze River. The Eastern Guards Regiment also noticed it. At first, we thought that they were going to launch a night attack. A powerhouse at the front line said. Seeing that people had stepped forward to confirm the authenticity of the news, the country fell into a short period of dead silence. Previously, although there were many demon kings and beasts everywhere in the country, many of the demon kings had their own formations, so China could barely deal with them. Now that many demon kings had joined forces, it meant that they were all tied together. There were more than 1 million beasts under their command. Who would stop them? Just as everyone was panicking about the unknown, the old dragon in the Yangtze River spoke. Chinese humans, my believers, the reason why we've gathered this time is not to deal with you. It's because Mad Southern Yi refused to listen to our advice and destroyed the Black Mountain Ridge of the beasts. This is equivalent to challenging the dignity of the beasts. The old dragon targeted Yi Chen. Therefore, after our discussion, as long as Mad Southern Yi comes to the Water Dragon Palace to kowtow and admit his mistake within 3 days, we'll let him live. Otherwise, in 3 days, we'll join forces and charge south with 1 million beasts. We'll massacre China and destroy the Star Group. We'll use Mad Southern Ye's blood to defend the dignity of the beasts. Following the old dragon's words, the country immediately fell into a deathly silence. In order to deal with Yi Chen, the old dragon threatened Yi Chen with the lives of hundreds of millions of people in China. He even made Yi Chen kneel to him. Currently, Yi Chen's prestige in the country was no different from a legend. He was the pride of mankind because he was the one who destroyed the 5 consortiums that rode on countless people's heads. He was also the one who stood on the side of mankind and fought the beasts. Now, the other party actually wanted the legend in their hearts to kneel and apologize to the beast. This action was equivalent to trampling on the dignity of all humans. How could they endure it? Arrogant. These bastards are really too arrogant. They actually dare to threaten us. This is really infuriating. That's right, especially that old loach. Who does he think he is? Is he the ruler of China or an immortal emperor? How dare you speak to Mad Southern Yi in such a tone? For a time, the country was in an uproar. Countless people were filled with righteous indignation and accused the old dragon in all sorts of ways. Under such circumstances, a harmonious voice was heard. He's targeting Mad Southern Yi. Why are you guys so agitated? Well said. Someone agreed. Isn't it just asking Mad Southern Yi to apologize and admit his mistake? What's the big deal? It's not like he's committing suicide. I think it's not a bad idea to let the beasts rule us. Perhaps everyone's lives will change. In the face of such a situation, Star Group was extremely quiet. Old Wong from the United Front Department had already rushed over secretly. Mr. Yi, the higher-ups mean that you don't have to care about their threats. China is not afraid of a battle. The old man's eyes were filled with determination. Even though he was over 100 years old, his blood was still as warm as before. Moreover, smart people could tell that Yi Chen represented the Chinese cultivation world. Once he knelt, the Chinese cultivation world would not be able to raise their heads. The consequence would be that the beasts would become even more arrogant. Palace Master, before I came, The brothers of the Dragon King Palace asked me to bring you a message. The deputy palace master of the Dragon King Palace, Li Ying, looked at him fixedly and said word by word, "Alas, although 3 families of Chu can destroy Qin, how can China be empty?" Under their gazes, Yi Chun sat leisurely and slowly tasted the fragrant tea in his hand. Then, he said with a faint smile, "There's no need to be so nervous. Even if they didn't look for me, I would look for them sooner or later for the sake of China's stability. Now that they're doing this, I'm satisfied." His eyes flickered, and his gaze filled with disdain. "Give me 3 days. 3 days later, I'll destroy them in one fell swoop and return China to eternal peace." After sending the 2 of them off, Yi Chun called Yi Wen and the other girls over and handed them a list. "I'll give you guys a day to prepare all the materials on the list for me." The girls took it and took a look. When they realized that there were more than 1,000 types of materials on it, they were shocked. "Brother, if we want to gather them in a day, I'm afraid we'll have to ask the government for help." "Sure." Yi Chun knocked on the table with his hand. He looked at the sky with a fierce gleam in his eyes. "I'll give them a big gift in 3 days." Outside Star Group, in a jeep, Lian glanced at the solemn old Wang and could not help but ask, "Old Wang, do you think the palace master can resolve this situation?" Even she could not help but shudder at the thought of dozens of demon kings working together in a million beast hordes. "It's difficult." Old Wang sighed softly. "A million beast hordes is fine. After all, China also has a million heroes. However, the key is that those dozens of demon kings are all quasi-saints. And, misty, is there no other way?" Li Ying's face turned pale. "Perhaps there's a way." Old Wang seemed to have thought of something, and then he said with a bitter smile, "It's time to put down my pride and go to those secret realms and grotto heavens. I hope they can mediate this conflict on account of the fact that we're all humans." One had to admit that Star Group was very efficient. The entire group started operating as soon as Yi Chun gave the order. The next morning, Yi Chun had gathered all the materials he needed. Yi Wen secretly sent them over in her storage ring. In the secret room built by Star Group, Yi Chun and the Patriarch of Hell sat opposite each other. Yi Chun and the Patriarch of Hell sat across each other. There were 2 huge cauldrons of earthly fire in front of them, and there were also mountains of refining materials. "Fellow Yi, is this the mountain-moving flag that you mentioned to the Patriarch?" The Patriarch of Hell raised his hand and formed a hand seal. The memories in his mind appeared, and he could not hide the shock on his face. Chapter 980. Just now, Yi Chun came to him and wanted to refine 2 earth-shattering magic tools with him. One of the magic tools was called the mountain-moving flag. The flag had the ability to move mountains and summon groups across worlds. As long as someone waved the flag, they could summon thousands of people from afar. "That's right." Yi Chun nodded lightly and said, "Just one flag can summon 3,000 people. However, I need to set up a formation beforehand." At the end of the day, the mountain-moving flag was equivalent to a teleportation formation that could teleport groups thousands of kilometers away. When he was in the immortal world, the 4 heavenly kings held this flag. Just one flag could summon hundreds of thousands of people. "So, you're saying that you want to teleport the million army through this flag?" The Patriarch of Hell saw through Yi Chun's thoughts immediately. "That's right." Yi Chun smiled lightly. "Therefore, I'll have to trouble you for the next 2 days. You must refine 360 mountain-moving flags. One flag could summon 3,000 people, so 360 flags could summon the million army. With this flag, the million soldiers would definitely shock the world. 360 flags. The Patriarch of Hell almost vomited blood when he heard that. His face twitched violently as he said, "Refine 360 flags in 2 days? Are you trying to blow me up?" "You don't have to worry about that." Yi Chun waved his hand. Countless spirit stones fell from his storage ring onto the ground. At that moment, spiritual energy was like mist. "What about you? You can't let me work alone." The Patriarch of Hell looked unwilling. "Of course, I have my own mission." Yi Chun smiled mysteriously. Subsequently, he lifted his hand and waved. He appeared in another secret room. An ancient and mysterious golden pagoda slowly appeared in his mind. The golden pagoda had a total of 9 floors. It was like an octagonal object with 8 sides. There was a pagoda carved on each side, and the 8 sides happened to be the 8 divisional pagoda. It emitted a domineering and sharp aura as if it wanted to suppress everything. The 8 divisional pagoda. Yi Chun smirked at the corner of his lips. This is the Dragon Clan's treasure. Once this item is refined, its power will be boundless and its divine might will be monstrous. It can suppress all evil and all kinds of heretics. With my original infant stage cultivation, although I cannot fully restore the 8 divisional stupa's true power, I can still use it to suppress the saints. Then he took a deep breath, and the spiritual essence in his body surged. He waved his hand, and the materials on the ground immediately shot toward him. In the secret chamber, a terrifying true essence surged endlessly, like divine lightning alternating between flashing and extinguishing, and there was a faint trace of a disdainful aura quietly awakening. Meanwhile, the outside world was completely unaware of this. They were still arguing endlessly about the Demon King's gathering to target Yi Chun. In the Yangtze River's Water Dragon Palace, a Demon King shouted, "Mad Southern Yi hasn't said anything yet. Could he be afraid now?" It was the Wild Boar King. After he said that, he immediately received the support of many Demon Kings. Ha ha ha! Is there a need to guess? With dozens of Demon Kings working together, I'm afraid a mere Mad Southern Yi would have been scared to the point of trembling. If he knew this would happen, he wouldn't have done it in the first place. From the moment Mad Southern Yi killed the Black Mountain Demon King, his fate was decided. If I were Mad Southern Yi, I would rush to the Yangtze River's Water Dragon Palace and kowtow to us to apologize. The longer this drags on, the more we won't forgive him. The more the Demon Kings spoke, the more excited they became. One of the Demon Kings even shouted at the golden-winged rock, "Rock King, weren't you always on Mad Southern Yi's side? Why are you mute now? Rock King, don't tell me you're scared too?" The golden-winged rock was furious. "Multicolor King, are you provoking the Rock Clan? Since when do I need you to tell me what to do?" Northeast, deep in the old forest, a woman in white stood in front of the stone wall and said gently, "Grand Aunt, may I ask if you agreed to the Water Dragon Palace's invitation?" Although the woman's voice was weak, there was a hint of anger in her tone. It was like a flame in the spring breeze. The sky-roaming Dragon King has gathered dozens of Demon Kings. The 5 immortals can't reject him, but we only agreed to remain neutral. After a long time, an old voice came from the stone wall. "The Northeast Immortals will not attack Mad Southern Yi, nor will we help him. He won't be able to escape death. I advise you to focus on him." The woman in white could only sigh when she heard that. Shanzhou, on top of the huge pagoda, there was a dignified man in a black dragon robe, standing with his hands behind his back. He looked in the direction of the mausoleum of Li Mountain. His gaze seemed to have pierced through time. It was Ing, who had disappeared for a long time. At that moment, a black dragon flew over from the sky and turned into a man in iron armor. He knelt on one knee and said, "Master, Yi is now surrounded. Should we attack?" "Attack?" Ying's dragon robe fluttered in the wind, and his voice was indifferent. "Of course I will attack. If this person can't even deal with a few dozen beasts, I will attack. However, I will let him die in my hands. I will suck the blood of his sacred body and seize his dragon energy. Moreover, Fengdu is about to be unsealed. It's time to take back what I left behind back then." Time passed in a flash. Yi Chun still had not come out of closed-door cultivation when there was only 1 day left of the 3-day agreement. On the other hand, Old Wong brought an old man in a purple Taoist robe and a purple gold crown to Star Group. Yuan looked at the Taoist behind Old Wong warily and said slowly, "My brother is in closed-door cultivation. Why don't you wait? What time is it?" "He's still in closed-door cultivation." Old Wong was anxious. What's the point of going into closed-door cultivation now? On the other hand, the Taoist behind him smirked coldly. "Only now do you know how to be anxious? Unfortunately, it's too late." At the end of his sentence, his eyes narrowed slightly as he said coldly, "I'll give him another 30 minutes. For the safety of the human race, he must come out. Otherwise, don't blame me for forcefully breaking through. Old Wong's expression changed slightly. Just as he was about to speak, an extremely cold voice came from behind everyone. Do you dare to say that again? Old Wong and the Taoist immediately turned around. A young man in white slowly walked over. His cold eyes were fixed on the Taoist. The Taoist's expression turned grim. What did you say just now? Do you dare to repeat what you said just now? Yi Wuxuang looked into his eyes without any hesitation. The Taoist laughed out of extreme anger. How dare a junior like you speak to me in such a tone? Did I say anything wrong? Many demon kings have gathered and are about to march south, but Mad Southern Yi is hiding like a coward in the name of closed-door cultivation. Boom! Before he could finish speaking, the originally calm space suddenly trembled violently. Then, an endless sword Dao will erupted from Yi Wuxuang's body. A giant sword condensed from countless sword qi appeared out of thin air and slashed at the Taoist with the might of lightning. Chapter 981. Impudent. The Taoist priest was instantly enraged. With a light wave of the horsetail whisk in his hand, it was as if he was waving the entire galaxy as he brazenly faced the giant sword that was slashing at his head. Rumble. As the void trembled, the horsetail whisk in the Taoist priest's hand shattered, and he took a few steps back. His expression was both shocked and furious. His left hand, which was hanging at his waist, could not stop trembling, and blood slowly dripped down. Junior, how dare you hurt me? Say another word and you'll die. Yi Wuxuang's expression was cold. The Taoist priest, you don't be rash. Old Wong hurriedly stopped him. This is Lei Wanjun from Purple Cloud Grotto. I invited him here to resolve the matter with the Yangtze River's Water Dragon Palace. After the spiritual energy recovery, not only had demon kings awakened, but secret realms such as grotto heavens had also appeared. The people living in them were all human almighties. However, they were extremely high and mighty and had never come into contact with the secular world. In order to resolve the crisis for Yi Chun, he had no choice but to invite Lei Wanjun from Purple Cloud Grotto. However, he really did not expect that the person he invited to help would have a conflict with Yi Wuxuang. If that was the case, wouldn't this path be completely cut off? As expected, as if to verify his guess, Lei Wanjun laughed angrily. All right. Is this how you treat your guests? It seems like Mad Southern Yi doesn't need the help of our grotto heavens. With that, he planned to leave with a flick of his sleeves. Old Wong hurriedly said, Lei Exalted Immortal, please stop. This matter concerns the survival of the human race. Please consider the bigger picture. It's fine if I don't leave. Lei Wanjun took a deep breath in and looked at Yi Wuxuang with a cold smile on his face. This brat must apologize to me. Old Wong suppressed his anger and looked at Yi Wuxuang, who remained unmoved. He could only sigh softly to himself. How could he not know the pride of someone like Lei Wanjun from a grotto? However, for the sake of the bigger picture, he could only hold it in. What arrogance! In this deadlock, a faint voice rang out from within the secret room. Then, a skinny figure slowly walked out. Brother. Ewan hurried forward. Old Wong heaved a sigh of relief. Let me introduce you. This is Purple Cloud Grottos. There's no need for introductions. Yichen interrupted him and glared at Lei Wanjun. How dare a mere person from the secret zone ask my brother to apologize to you? Who gave you the courage? Mad Southern Yi, how dare you treat me like this? Lei Wanjun's expression changed slightly, as if he was enraged. Don't forget that I represent the blessed enclave. You'll die if the mighty figures of the human race don't help. I don't need your help. Yi Chun chuckled softly. Please, don't regret this. Lei Wanjun was shocked. Clearly, he did not expect Yi Chun to be so stubborn. Scram! Yi Chun's shout was like thunder. Fine. Let's see how you'll deal with this deadly situation without us. Lei Wanjun laughed angrily and left with a flick of his sleeve. After he left, Elder Wong sighed. You were too impulsive. He thought Yi Chun had said those words out of anger earlier. Impulse. Yi Chun raised his brows and said while shaking his head, Elder Wong, I appreciate your kindness, but I don't need anyone's help. Elder Wang's lips moved slightly, and he heard an incomparably proud laughter coming from the secret chamber. Fellow Yi, I've succeeded. I've succeeded. Yi Chun put away the smile on his face and said seriously, Oh yeah, get the 100 generals from the 10 preparation zones to see me. Although his voice was extremely calm, it contained a trace of killing intent that could not be concealed. Tiananmen battlefront. On a huge field, more than 300 figures stood tall like steel. Even though it was raining and the temperature was below zero, the scene was extremely silent, as if it had been petrified. Dong! 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 The dull and oppressive sound of war drums slowly sounded from the military camp, like beating hearts that were suppressing their anger. Today I, Yi Chun, am untalented. I'm willing to be the sharp sword of China and kill all the enemies in the world. I'll return China to its former glory, and I'll need your help. Yi Chun stood on the high platform. 10 blue flags appeared in his hands. He suddenly shouted, Where's Yin Nanfei? Boom! Yin Nanfei charged forward. Yi Chun lifted his hand and tossed. 10 mountain-moving flags shot out immediately. I order you to lead 30,000 troops and be the right commander of the Eastern Front Line. Where's Han Xinhu? As soon as Yi Chun said that, Han Xinhu took a step forward. 10 mountain-moving flags landed in his hands. I order you to be the left commander of the Eastern Front Line and lead 30,000 troops. Where's Li Yanxiao? Another 10 mountain-moving flags shot out. I order you to be the commander of the Eastern Front Line and lead 30,000 troops. Where's Wu Jiangwo? Where's Chun Weijian? Half an hour later, Yi Chun had distributed all 360 mountain-moving flags on him. The troops were deployed to the 5 places where the beasts gathered. He glanced at the 20 mountain-moving flags that the Patriarch had refined and said to Peng Yuanqing beside him, Are the heavy artillery battalion and the other mobile units ready? We've been ready for a long time. Peng Yuanqing immediately stood at attention and said, Moreover, Old Wang has already ordered people to engrave talismans on these equipment, as well as the 5 nuclear bombs codenamed Sky, Thunder that have been recently developed. At that moment, Old Wang arrived in a helicopter. Old Wang, I'll leave everything here to you, Yi Chun said while smiling lightly. Once I attack at the Water Dragon Palace, you must attack at the same time. Rush to 5 directions and destroy this army of 1 million beasts. That was his real goal. So what if he killed a few dozen demon kings? After killing them, a new demon king would be born in the army of 1 million beasts. If he wanted to kill them, he would eliminate them once and for all. With the mountain-moving flags, the army of 1 million could cross thousands of kilometers in an instant and catch the beasts off guard. There's no problem on my side, but you. Old Wang sighed softly, his eyes slightly red. He had already found out about Yi Chun's plan. Initially, he thought that Yi Chun wanted to use the army of 1 million to go to the Water Dragon Palace. Never did he expect that his real goal was to deal with the army of 1 million beasts. Most importantly, Yi Chun needed to go to the Water Dragon Palace and face dozens of demon kings alone if he wanted to carry out the plan successfully. Don't worry. Yi Chun smiled lightly as he looked at them disdainfully. That afternoon, the Star Group finally spoke. They announced that the master of the Star Group, Mad Southern Yi, was going north to flatten the Water Dragon Palace, wipe out everything, and suppress the foreign tribes. When the news spread, the world was shocked. He's crazy, he's crazy. Mad Southern Yi is really crazy. How dare he say such arrogant words? Doesn't he know that his opponents are dozens of demon kings and 1 million beasts? Countless people revealed looks of disbelief. Almost at that moment, Mount Longhu, the previous 3rd-generation celestial master of Mount Longhu, Taoist Master Long Quan, was worried about all the disciples. He laughed out loud. Mad Southern Yi, you're indeed a legend of China. You're so determined. When have we ever been afraid of death? At the next moment, he took a deep breath in and said in a low voice, Disciples, listen up. Anyone who can run and move will follow me north. We won't return until we destroy the Water Dragon Palace. Mao Mountain. Has this day finally come? The only quasi-saint of Mao Shan shouted like thunder. Fine, I'll do my best to fight for a path to the heavens for China. Wudong Mountain. Grandmaster Li Xuanji's blood surged. Fight! 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 Such a scene played out in countless cultivation sects in China. Countless sects used all their strength to silently head north. The Yangtze River Water Dragon Palace spoke again. Mad Southern Yi overestimates himself. How dare you provoke the beasts? After we kill you, we'll massacre China and leave no one alive. Everyone was infuriated by his words. Mad Southern Yi, let's fight. Kill all these animals and let them know who the real master of this world is. On the other hand, a storm was set off on the internet. Forums, tribes, short videos, live streaming platforms, and other major interactive platforms were all furious. Damn it, damn it. Do you think the hundreds of thousands of cultivators and millions of mutants in China are made of mud? Countless young cultivators and mutants wished they could kill their way into the Yangtze River Water Dragon Palace right now. There are many heroes in Yanhuang. They are not afraid to fight 100 people alone. They will take revenge. Look at the blood of the Chinese men. Cultivate my sword, kill my way up to the 9 heavens, spill my blood, and press forward. Fight, fight, kill, kill, kill. P.S. Chapter 3, not today. Because I'm about to take the second exam, I've wasted a lot of time practicing. Sorry, I go to driving school at 6:30 a.m. every day and only come back at 6 or 7 p.m. I don't even have time to eat. I'll be fine after I'm done. Chapter 982, Water Dragon Palace. It was located at the source of the Yangtze River, the Tongtian River. This place was originally a livestock and agricultural area. After the spiritual energy of heaven and earth recovered, a dragon that was more than 200 meters long rose from the river. The dragon spoke the human language, moved the clouds and rain, passed down cultivation techniques, and saved the world. It had indeed recruited more than 10 million believers nearby. The dragon called itself the Sky Roaming Saint. As soon as it appeared, it attracted countless beasts to join it. There was even no lack of demon kings that were comparable to quasi-saints. Therefore, this dragon and its water dragon palace had an extremely high status and authority among the beasts. If it was in the past, countless believers would go to the hall outside the water dragon palace to pray for blessings every day. However, it was deathly silent today. That was because everyone knew that the Star Group and the Water Dragon Palace had started a war. The former number 1 person in China, Mad Southern Yi, was about to head north. He threatened to flatten the Water Dragon Palace and kill everything. This shocking battle that almost determined the balance between the human race and the beasts in China naturally attracted the attention of everyone and the beasts. Under such circumstances, there were still people rushing over less than a kilometer away from the entrance of the Water Dragon Palace. These people did not go near the Water Dragon Palace. Instead, they stood quietly on the spot. They did not speak to each other, as if they were waiting for someone. There were also people carrying cameras. At that moment, a green robe flew over from the sky, accompanied by a surprised voice. Brother Su from Maoshan, why are you here too? An old Taoist priest from Maoshan cupped his hands and said, Seiji is determined to flatten the Water Dragon Palace and return the human race to peace. As humans, how can we not come? That's right. Another old man with a walking stick in his hand said with a trembling voice, although spiritual master Yi is suppressing the world, he is still weak in the end. If there's a place where we can be of use, we will charge forward even if we die. That's right. We're all people who have half of our bodies in the ground. If we can do something for China with our remaining bodies, what's the big deal about dying? An extremely old laughter came from a void. Then, an old man in white stepped through the air and arrived. Many people present were shocked when they saw the newcomer, and then they bowed and cupped their fists. Greetings, old celestial master. The person who came was the old celestial master of Mount Longhu, Taoist Longquan, who had lived for 3 generations. Outsiders thought that he had passed away long ago, but who would have thought that he was still alive? Ha ha ha! Longquan, you old thing, your life is really tough. You're actually still alive. Another burst of laughter rang out, and then an old woman in linen clothes with 2 sabers in her hands leaped over. Lotus Flower Valley's Granny Lotus. TSK, I can't believe she's still alive. Gasps could be heard from the surroundings. On the other hand, the onlookers were extremely shocked. Mao Mountain, Wudong Mountain, Dragon Tiger Mountain, Amei Mountain, Wutai Mountain, 8 Trigram School, Taizu's Long Fist, and all the other traditional Chinese sects were all present. Those people were there to help Yi Chun. All of them moved because of Yi Chun. That was the influence of mad Southern Yi in the country. After seeing Granny Lotus, Taoist Master Su and the rest had strange expressions on their faces. Their gazes moved back and forth between Taoist Master Long Quan and the former. Rumor had it that before Taoist Master Long Quan entered Mount Longhu, he had a romantic past with the young and charming Granny Lotus. Later on, when Taoist Master Long Quan went up the mountain to cultivate, Granny Lotus caused a ruckus on Mount Longhu, demanding an explanation from Taoist Master Long Quan. She even divorced Taoist Master Long Quan as a woman. From then on, the two of them never contacted each other. It had been more than 200 years. However, the two of them met again today because of Yi Chun. Lotus, haven't you let go of what happened back then? Taoist Master Long Quan shook his head helplessly when he saw the person who had come. Granny Lotus smirked coldly. I'll only let it go when you're dead. As long as you're alive, I won't be able to let it go. Taoist Master Long Quan was speechless. Taoist Master Su glanced at the disciples of Mount Longhu who had come with Taoist Master Long Quan and sighed softly. Old Celestial Master, why are you doing this? He did not expect Taoist Master Long Quan to bring over 1,000 disciples of Mount Longhu. This was no different from cutting off all means of retreat. Taoist Master Long Quan swept the dust away. If Seiji is defeated, it means that our human race will never be able to raise our heads again. Instead of being trampled on, why don't we die to defend our Tao? After more than 200 years, you've finally become a man, Granny Lotus said. Wudong Mountain's Grandmaster, Li Xuanji, sighed and said, actually, there's no lack of people with secret realms like Grotto Heavens and Blessed Lands. If they can lend China a hand, perhaps them? They're just a bunch of people who put their lives on the line and believe that it doesn't matter to them. Taoist Master Long Quan seemed to be disdainful. While everyone was talking, they suddenly heard a beast roar coming from afar. Then, an incomparably violent and bloody aura rushed into the sky. It was a person covered in red scales. His eyes were like venomous snakes as he stood in the air and looked down at everyone. What? Mad Southern E doesn't dare to come. So he sent you a bunch of trash to your deaths? His voice was like rolling thunder that exploded within a radius of 3,000 meters, causing the expressions of many people to change. Those with weaker cultivation even bled from their 7 orifices. It's the Golden Snake King of Snake Crown Ridge. Granny Lotus's 2 sabers swept across the sky, overflowing with saber chi. A human powerhouse stepped forward. Golden Snake King, Seiji is a genius of our human race. His methods are heaven-defying, and his divine might is like a prison. How can you insult him as you please? You're courting death. A fierce glint flashed across the Golden Snake King's eyes. He suddenly opened his mouth, and an incomparably scarlet red shadow cut through the air, directly piercing through that person's body. A broken body fell to the ground. At that moment, the world fell silent. Let this old man fight you. Taoist Master Long Quan let out a long roar before taking a step into the air. He swept through the air with his true origin energy. It's the old celestial master of Mount Longhu. Rumor has it that this person is over 300 years old, and his cultivation has long been profound. If he makes a move, he will definitely be able to deal a blow to the Golden Snake King's spirit. Many people in front of the screen were shocked when they saw this. They widened their eyes and stared intently, as if they were afraid of missing any of the series. Facing Taoist Master Long Quan's powerful suppression, the Golden Snake King smiled disdainfully. His figure suddenly disappeared, and in the next moment, he appeared behind Taoist Master Long Quan. Oh no! Taoist Master Long Quan's heart sank. Just as he was about to dodge, he suddenly felt a pain in his shoulder. Then his entire arm was forcefully torn off. Bang! Taoist Master Long Quan fell to the ground. Dead silence. Countless people could not believe the scene before their eyes. TSK. Is this the powerhouse of your human race? The Golden Snake King retracted his tongue and licked the blood at the corner of his mouth. You humans are destined to become the slaves of our demon race, destined to be suppressed by us for generations to come. Is our human race really so weak in front of the demon race? The netizens who saw this scene through the live broadcast could not help but fly into a rage. Then, their faces were filled with worry. Bastard! Granny Lotus and the rest were so angry that their faces turned ashen. Golden Snake King, don't be too complacent. Our human race's legend, Sage Yi, has yet to arrive. Otherwise, he would definitely be able to wipe you all out. With just mad Southern Yi alone? The Golden Snake King laughed sinisterly. If he dares to come, there's no need for the other demon kings to do anything. I, the Golden Snake King, can kill him alone and destroy the legend of your human race. Just as he finished speaking, a faint voice came from the depths of the void. Is that so?